For cheaper gas, just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WELL to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WELL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WELL for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code WELL.
Plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 888-411-7640 for detail. March is a race against time at JT's Jeep Ram. JT is selling every single Jeep regardless of profit or loss. Every credit application and offer accepted. JT's been challenged to sell 100 Jeeps, making deals the other dealers can't. New Jeeps up to $10,000 off. Grand Cherokees, Wranglers, Gladiators, even the all-new Jeep Cherokee with exclusive million-mile warranty. JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of Deal Sales event.
We're change makers, problem solvers, and community.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Early Game. With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
Good morning, Early Game crew. We don't get to do it much, but when we do, it's a lot of fun. It's the Early Game live from Darlington Raceway, brought to you by Schroeder's Towing. For all your parking lot signage and towing needs, dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck. Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town. They are sponsoring us here at Darlington Raceway, which is always a little bit of a interesting experience to be at a NASCAR track before the sun comes up. But it is very beautiful scene once it does come up, because we got a big race this weekend, and we'll make our picks for it when our man Josh Harris comes in for the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge, and he'll hang out with us for a couple segments in the last hour of the show. But until then, myself, I'm Elijah Campbell. Hi. Jen Jensen, also here from Darlington Raceway. Our man Preston Thorne back at the home studios in beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. And of course, Terry Ford, the man who is not sleeping. To use the term from John Rothstein, or the phrase, well, we sleep in May, Terry's taking that quite literally, and I can relate, because Terry will be on from 12 to 6 today, and I'll hang out with him from 12 to 3. Ooh, what a start. Preston Thorne, have you recovered from any of the madness that we experienced yesterday in college basketball? Because I think we got one of the greatest days to start a tournament you could possibly imagine.
Elijah, I was going to send a wellness check for you today to make sure that you're drinking water, eating food, that you're not OD'd on hoops, because I know this time of year for you is a special time of year. Yesterday was amazing, and it had everything that we love about this tournament in one single day. I don't know all the historics, I don't know all the measurements, but if somebody was to make the argument that it's the best single day, I don't know how you could. There's upsets, there's close games, there's buzzer beaters. Everything that you want was in one day, the first day.
Yeah, the first day, the first window even. I mean, it was a remarkable, remarkable day. Between myself losing a Final Four team in the first window of games for the third straight year.
I was going to let you do that. I was going to let you say that. I wasn't going to bring it up. I was going to act polite in company. But I can imagine there's somebody out there somewhere that's saying, that Elijah Campbell thinks he knows about basketball. He's been preaching about Wisconsin.
I've already gotten it. Have already gotten it. And you know what? You know why they call it an upset? Because it is not foreseen.
That's true.
That is why they call it an upset. If it was expected, then we wouldn't have been so shocked when it happened. But I mean, honestly, we want to like start off there with that game too. High Point seemed like they were, I don't want to say like dead in the water, because when it's a single digit game with about 3.5 minutes or so left, there's still plenty of ball game for stuff to happen. But there was a one moment in that game, Preston Thorne, where I was like, oh, they're not going away. Oh, there's some weird energy with this basketball game right now. And it was when homeboy Chase Johnson, the guy who wears number 99, which is already strange enough, catches the ball like just past half court, like the guy standing on the March Madness logo, and just pulls it from like 40 feet. It looked like and just drilled it. I don't know if the net even moved, and he did it with like 25 seconds left still in the shot clock. He just touched it and chucked it, man, and he let it fly. And I was like, oh, it's that type of half right now. Oh, don't let that guy touch the ball. And guess what? He did touch the ball and hit like 4 threes in that stretch and hit his first 2-point basket of the year to take the lead with 11 seconds left. That was after 34, 35 some odd games of playing basketball this year for High Point. And that guy plays a lot of minutes. He scored his first 2-point basket to take the lead.
First of all,
less than 15 seconds left.
First of all, he must have the ultimate green light, because that shot was ridiculous. You don't shoot that in any other time unless you have green light. Anytime you can shoot. Second, I heard the statistic about that being his first 2-pointer of the year, and I was like, that can't be right. And then I thought, oh yeah, we had one of those guys too at South Carolina. So yeah, that is a thing.
Yeah, there are more of those players in college basketball now than there ever was.
Except ours was a 7-footer, so I don't know how that's supposed to work.
Which is even stranger. Yeah, it's a little more bizarre.
Yeah, moving forward though.
Oh man, that was an incredibly exciting game. Duke held on for dear life against Siena.
Yeah.
Held on for dear life. Preston Thorne. They were down 13 in the second half.
I watched that one. It had all the hallmarks. It had all the hallmarks of, okay, this might get a little nervous. You knew Duke was going to give them a little fight. I think they went into the halftime at up 9. Siena did. You knew Duke was going to come back, but there's a key moment in this game where I said, they got him. And it was the same thing. You know Duke's coming back. Duke takes the lead by 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Duke takes the lead by 2. Siena gets the ball, and they did not score to tie it. And I said that was the moment right there, because this number 1 seed is going to come back. Even though another statistic, Elijah, I think I heard this correctly, a number 1 has never been down to a 16 ever at halftime.
Oh,
did you hear that?
I did. Yeah, I'm trying to think back. So UVA and UMBC were tied at 21 at halftime.
There you go.
Of that upset. And I can't remember if Purdue was up on Fairleigh Dickinson or not, but there's only 2 games of sample size to work with here. So
this is true. So all the words are doing a lot of work there, but no 1 seed had ever been down to a 16 seed. And I saw it coming. I was like, they're going to fight back. But, Siena just didn't have enough gas to finish out the game.
Yeah. And I think the point in time in that game where I was kind of in the mindset of, yeah, this ain't happening, is, and I want to say Siena was down about 4, and it was in the second half, and they're still kind of hanging around, and they get like a 3-shot possession.
Mm-hmm.
So they get like 2 offensive rebounds at the basket, and they couldn't convert. And I said, okay, they're gassed because they didn't make a substitution all game.
Yeah. And you think about the amount of energy that it takes to play to that, they're basically running in red the whole time, trying to play to their highest level, especially when you have the feeling like this might happen, like this can happen. And that's where everybody gets in the depth. But check this out, Elijah. Does that affect the way you see Duke for the rest of the tournament?
A little bit. It makes me more concerned about not having Caleb Foster.
Mm-hmm.
And Cam Boozer had to play a lot of point guard yesterday. And I thought Caden Boozer, the underappreciated Boozer brother, which who had a career high 19 points in that game, I thought he played fine, but he's not maybe the same facilitator that a Caleb Foster is, or maybe isn't as reliable bringing the ball up and down the floor. And offensively, he still brought you, again, 19 points is 19 points. That's a plus. You'll take that. And Caleb Foster was averaging 8 on the year. So it wasn't like Foster was going to go out there and be expected to give you 20. I think maybe the fall off is maybe on the defensive end too, because I would not have foreseen Siena scoring in the 60s in that game. That was not something that I would have foreseen how good Duke has been defensively all year long. Maybe their biggest superpower, which was being the best defensive team in the country, has probably been stripped of them now that they are down Foster and Ngongba. I think Foster being the biggest loss because of his size being 6'5". You're maybe a little less switchable out on the perimeter than you were when he was healthy and playing. That makes Duke different. Now, I still think they can certainly adapt. I think John Shire's a really good coach. Obviously, they have an incredible amount of talent that, what was it? Malik Brown, I guess at halftime did say, yeah, we thought we can come in here and sleepwalk through this. Now we know we got to play. Buddy, you got to lose that mindset really quick, right? Because you can't go in there and sleepwalk against TCU, because TCU has beaten some good teams this year. You don't want to play around in that game. Maybe it's a wake-up call. Maybe this is just kind of who they are without Caleb Foster and Patrick Ngongba, who I don't think we should expect either of them in the NCAA tournament for the entire run. But they certainly played in a way yesterday that if I am a Duke fan, I do not feel great about moving forward.
Hubert Davis.
Ooh, buddy. I know they got the heat on here in this press box right now, but I am not feeling even a fraction of the heat that Hubert Davis is feeling in that seat at the University of North Carolina right now, because Preston Thorne, if I'd have told you yesterday Hubert Davis was going to make history, you're like, oh, wow, good for him. Biggest blowout win? Or, a player has a historic scoring night? Not quite. The history he made was North Carolina being up 19 points in the second half and losing, which is the largest blown lead in the first round of the NCAA tournament in the history of the NCAA tournament. Once again, Preston Thorne, an event dating back to 1939. Not good history to make.
And a lot of times with these situations, it's not if, it's how. It's not if you lose. Nobody wants to lose, but it's how you lose. And then when you lose up by 19 to a lower ranked seed, it's not a great look. For anybody who needed ammunition, anybody who needed fuel for the fire to get them up out of there, they definitely got it last night.
Oh, more than enough, because here's the thing in terms of how you lost. When you blow a lead like that, sometimes things in basketball just happen where one player on the other team goes crazy. And last night, VCU did have a guard score 30 points. I think he had 18 of those 30 in the second half. But I think the most damning part of that was the fact that North Carolina had every single opportunity humanly imaginable in that game to put the game away, and they just refused to do it, right? Henry Visar missed so many shots at the basket. For a guy who is a 7-footer, he missed 6 2-point attempts last night, and I don't think any of them were outside of 7 feet from the basket. Missed too many shots at the rim. They let Nick Lewis? No, it was Terrence Hill, who came off the bench. Came off the bench for VCU and scored 34 points last night and hit a bunch of threes. That happened, but there was so many chances. And at the free throw line, too, North Carolina went 12 for 20 from the stripe.
Can't do that.
12 for 20. And then in the overtime period, neither team scored for the first 2.5 minutes of the overtime period. That's 5 minutes long. That's half of the overtime period. No one could score. And it wasn't like North Carolina wasn't getting good shots. They got all the looks you could possibly want in that game, and they couldn't, for the life of them, put the game away. And that also is just going to fall on Hubert. And so the underachievement this year, yes, I know Caleb Wilson got hurt, and that he broke his thumb dunking the basketball, something he has done so many countless times in his career. Freak injury keeps your best player out. But when you're up 19 in that game and you have all the opportunities in the world to put it away with shots at the basket, with shots that you want, it's hard to bounce back from that as a program. That's tough.
Yeah, it's not. It's a difficult spot to be in. But because of your confidence and what I saw from Vegas, I did have VCU in that slot, and I did pick VCU, and my brother who also picked VCU. But here's the thing about my brother, Elijah. He just picks every upset, and then when he's right, he claims that he's right.
He says, "I called it. I called it."
That's his gimmick. He picks every upset, and then when he gets one, he said, "Yep, see."
I love the bit. That's a great bit.
But I don't think he knows he's running a bit. I'm just on to his game.
You figured him out now.
I got him figured it out. Yes.
Well, that's funny. My brother's on the a different end of the spectrum. Like, he only picks a handful of upsets. He doesn't pick many, but it seems like he has picked almost every big one outside of like the 16s over ones in the last few years. The guy has not watched a lick of college basketball this year. And through 8 games last night, he was one of only like 2 million perfect brackets on ESPN nationally. He went 8 for 8, and he had North Carolina. That's the one that broke it. So he had North Carolina, who was up 19 in the second half. So when they were up big, I was like, my God, he might do it. He has not watched basketball all year long. Just strings off 8 for 8, picked High Point.
That's insane.
My bracket was busted ASAP with Ohio State and TCU.
Same. Yeah. I took Ohio State. So I immediately lost the perfect bracket early. And I lost the Final Four team pretty early. But however, I still have hope. I still have 3 of the 4, including my national championship matchup and national championship winner. And that is what matters most, kids, when it comes to bracket pools. But coming up next, it is a BYOE weekend over at Founders Park. I'll tell you what I'm talking about next here in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Plus, tax tags and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The all-new JT's Kia is officially open with their new state-of-the-art showroom designed to make your buying experience fast, friendly, and hassle-free. Get grand opening 0% financing for 60 months on new Kias. Put no money down and JT's million-mile warranty. Plus, savings up to 10 grand off new Kias and up to 5 grand over book value for your trade. Get to JT's Kia today, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
If your lawnmower sat all winter, you're running out of time to get it ready for spring. Now for a limited time, Cato's Power Equipment is offering special spring service pricing with push more tune-ups starting at $100 and zero-turn services starting as low as $200. Let Cato's get your equipment tuned up and ready for the mowing season ahead. Need help getting your mower to us? Pickup and delivery starts at just $50. Don't wait. Call or stop by Cato's Power Equipment today and get your mower ready before the grass takes over. Visit CatosPowerEquipment.com.
I'm Jason Reynolds. You may wonder if you're better off hiring a big corporate law firm with hundreds of lawyers, or should you go local?
I'm Stephen Samuels. With the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, you get me, or Jason, or Michael, or David. You have your own lawyer who can go toe-to-toe with anybody, from big law to big insurance.
Here's how you know. Call 803-779-4000. You won't get a robot. You'll get Abby or Andrea or one of our other wonderful people taking your call. Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Let's rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, presented by RM43. March 27th and 28th at Colonial Life Arena. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo. March 27th and 28th, presented by RM43.
You could file your taxes on a basic free service, which is fine. But are you okay with fine? Because when it's your money on the line, do you really want to guess if you missed a credit or hope the math is right? Get the confidence of TurboTax for free right on the Intuit Credit Karma app. Free Fed and free state for simple 1040s only. Around 37% of filers qualify. See details at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for EITC, CTC, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
Want to unlock the power of athlete marketing to grow your business? Garnet Trust has recently launched a business membership program, making it easier than ever for your business to work directly with a USC student athlete. Visit garnettrust.com today or call 803-250-1765 to see your business boom.
They say perfection is a journey, and at Carolina Stone Craftsman, that journey leads us to just outside Columbia in Chapin. Our marble, our granite, our quartz, they're sculpted with the highest craftsmanship, honed with family values, and delivered with professional results. Explore the craftsmanship of each slab, see all our new showroom has to offer, and experience our custom hardscapes. Crafted to perfection, experience Carolina Stone Craftsman's workmanship. Take us for granted. Your journey to perfection starts with us. Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com.
Looking for a dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, where we've been proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're shopping for a new or pre-owned vehicle or just need expert service, you'll find it all right here. Shop online anytime at HerndonChevy.com or stop by and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
We have a good start to your Friday. It is Friday, yeah. Friday morning. Things looking pretty good out there. And we don't have any accidents to report. Weather-wise, looking fantastic. 76 with sunny skies today. Tomorrow, 85, 88 on Sunday. So a great weekend for some Gamecock baseball. I'm sure we'll talk about that later. Right now, it's 40. 107.5 The Game.
Early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington, sponsored by Schroeder's Towing on the Game.
We are live out here at Darlington Raceway. Brought to you by Schroeder's Towing. For all your parking lot signage and towing needs, dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck. Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Does Terry Ford know about Schroeder's Towing?
Terry, have you heard of them?
A little familiar, yes. I've heard rumors.
Okay. That they might tow a car if you're in the wrong place?
You park that thing in the wrong spot, you sometimes you get towed if you don't watch it, don't look at the signs, or maybe don't pay attention to the signs, or think, the signs, they're not really going to tow me.
Okay. I just was curious. I thought I heard, or like you said, heard a rumor of that or something, but yeah.
I've heard
so they're
rumors.
pretty good.
He's heard rumors. Maybe Terry and Ace of Base have something in common, and that is that they saw the sign. Yeah. And
but it didn't open his mind because he ignored it.
That's right. Lesson learned: if you see that Schroeder's Towing sign, think of that song and be like, know exactly what's about to happen if you end up parking there. Let that be your deterrent from parking there, because Schroeder's Towing will take care of business. We're hoping enough business is taken care of at Founders Park this weekend, because Preston Thorne, I have tabbed this a BYOE weekend at Founders Park. And normally it wouldn't have to be a bring your own energy or a bring your own enthusiasm. It could be that E is interchangeable there, but it is a BYOE weekend at Founders Park because you're 12-10. You're on a 5-game losing streak with 2 of those losses coming against the Citadel and Charlotte. It has not been a great week. You're winless in SEC play and an AP top, 5 or 6 team. I can't remember which one exactly Arkansas is. I know they're top 10, and in the coaches poll, they're top 10 too. That this Arkansas team is coming to town, and it has a potential to get really ugly if you don't lock in. And it's going to be a BYOE game because also we saw what the crowd looked like against Charlotte. You cannot expect there to be a large showing in this game. You're going to have to be able to feed off of your own energy and enthusiasm, and it's mightily important you do so if you want any type of hope that you can turn anything around here this season.
Yeah, South Carolina's in a very difficult spot this weekend because Arkansas has a lot to play for. They see that number one ranking is right there. They can probably just reach out and touch it. And South Carolina does not have the luxury of being a bad enough team that Arkansas is going to look past. It's early in the season, so we don't have that going for us. And we have a brand name of South Carolina baseball that probably Dave Van Horn has been preaching to them about. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys, it's really tough every time you go into Founders. So all of that stuff is still building. So whereas maybe later in the season, when you're a bad team and you're playing a really good team, you might be able to slip up on them. That's not going to be available for them this weekend.
No. I mean, and here's the issue too, is you have so many things that have plagued you this year that mentally you try, like we talked about yesterday, like when it comes to practicing, right? Maybe you try to emphasize hitting a little more. Okay, then the hitting improved a little bit against Charlotte. We're able to, get more bats on balls. You're able to get some home runs. You're able to, do a lot more damage on offense. But then the pitching gave up all those free passes, whether it's a walk or a hit batter or wild pitches to advanced runners. And then you had errors happen too. Like this is another one of those things where you don't need multiple things going wrong. You got to be able to play the most sound baseball you have played all season long to beat a team like Arkansas. And when it comes to kind of the psyche of the fan base right now, you just haven't been given any evidence that it is going to happen. This is just a really tough team to have to prove that against.
Elijah, you said BYOE. Did you consider that they have been BYOEing this whole season?
Ooh, well, I guess they didn't bring enough, I guess.
Well, no, they brought too much. Bring your own errors. They brought too many of them.
Change up.
Here's what we're gonna do. When they walk to the building, we're gonna have somebody standing outside, a bouncer, if you will. We're gonna pat them down and see if they brought their own errors. We're not gonna let them bring any errors into the ballpark this weekend. No bringing your own errors this ball. Not especially. What kind of jerk brings 5 errors to a game? Don't bring your own errors.
No, leave that at home. Leave that sloppiness at home.
You can bring one.
Yeah,
we'll let you act. We'll act like we didn't pat you down. We'll act like we didn't feel that error in your pocket. We'll let you walk in. But 5 of them, what you doing?
Yeah, like 5 of them, and because you're going to leave those empty air bottles in the stadium.
Exactly.
You ever walked around a stadium after a game? You will see the empty air bottles all over the place. No one likes to throw those away. I've noticed that too, right? Let's help the planet out, folks. If you sneak an error into the ballpark, make sure you at least throw it away. Have the courtesy to throw it away, and don't just leave it at your seat, or if it's at Willie B, the bleachers. Come on now.
Here's the thing, man.
You don't do that at home.
Exactly.
I hope.
Exactly.
I hope.
This is it. This is a big series, and I've talked. It's a bit. I run it all the time, but this is huge because again, there's not a lot for the fan base to grab onto. This may spark some life into the fan base. You get a win tonight. Maybe some more people will start paying attention. But also, you're at the point where you're on the mat and you don't want to get embarrassed at home. It's one thing to lose on the road. It's one thing to not get swept on the road. It's one thing to get run ruled on Sunday on the road. But if that happens at home where people can see, where people can hear, that is a difficult spot to be in. So yeah, this is a very tough series, and the schedule has done them no favors.
And that's what this series is to me, is kind of like playing for your own dignity a little bit too, right? Like respecting yourself enough to be able to try to play as sound baseball as you can. Do this for yourself. If the coaching staff's not motivating you, okay, fine. Can you motivate you, right? Can your personal success motivate you? Because no one wants to be associated, in college baseball with a team that is 0-for-6 in your conference.
We haven't heard of a team meeting, have we?
Yeah, have we had the players only meeting yet? I have not caught wind of that.
Players only meeting. Watch. Put it on watch.
There you go.
It's all watch. Now, Elijah, if they get swept this weekend, warning.
Yeah.
Oh, if they get swept this weekend, we might get a players only meeting in the middle of the last game.
There you go.
Yeah. Out on the mound. What are you guys doing?
Team.
Get back, coach. Get back.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
We didn't invite you.
Elijah, you bring up a really good point, because in this world of the transfer portal and people being transient, you don't ever want your name to be associated with the worst team in an institution's history.
Right.
Because that reflects poorly on you if you're even trying to move forward, if you're trying to stay, if a new guy's coming in, or if you're trying to go somewhere else. And they're like, you were on that South Carolina team? No, thank you.
Yeah. It raises questions. How good are you? Right. I mean, like, if anything, for the advancement of your career too, like, these guys gotta show something here. Right. Yeah. It's a big opportunity for the starting pitching staff. If you're going to go with Gunther in the first game, Ant Phillips in the second game, if you want a Johnny Hole staff, game 3, or, throw Riley out there, all power to you. For those guys, it's a big opportunity to show that you can continue to go deep into innings for whatever you end up doing later in your career. But so much of this series for me is just kind of, can you prove to yourself you're a good baseball team, right? The results haven't reflected that. Clearly, being on this baseball team right now cannot be a ton of fun. With the lack of success that you're having, the angst and unrest of the fan base, which is, I would say, rightfully so. It is pretty justified, right? Especially the year that you had last year and the history of this program. Can you prove something to yourself? And I don't think you can prove that to yourself if you don't bring your own energy. But coming up next, there is something that Charles Barkley and I have in common, and it's going to relate to the South Carolina women's basketball team. I'll tell you what that is coming up next here on the early game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Hey, it's that time again. Friday, April 3rd, the Spring Golf Classic at Charwood in West Columbia with our buddies Rock and Daniel Lucas. Once again, $400 for a team. And we have Saki's Morning Libations Bar before tee-off. Also, the classic onion sausage. Once again, presented by the Lexington Gamecock Club. Yeah, I know you're going to ask. We have the golf gun. Yes, we do. All that Friday, April 3rd. Again, $400 a team, $100 for an individual. Very simple. Write down this phone number, 803-755-2000, and press number 2 for our buddies at Charwood. Again, 803-555-2000, press 2. April 3rd, it's the Spring Golf Classic from the Game.
All right, y'all, they say the best time to plant a tree was yesterday. And it probably falls in line with the folks from Integrated Media. Yeah, you should probably have called them already so that you could have had your setup ready for the big first day of the tournament, but that's okay. There's still time. Call the folks from Integrated Media so they can help you get your setup ready. What does your setup look like? Samsung Terrace TVs that are waterproof, Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors. Why is that important? So you can have all your devices playing at the same time. You can have your iPad, your laptop, your TV, your desktop, your phone, all working on the same Wi-Fi, watching all the games, seeing all the final finishes, looking at all the buzzer beaters, and the folks from Integrated Media can help you out. From home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat, Integrated Media is who you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. The Mega Millions jackpot for Friday is $50 million. Be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See sceducationlottery.com for jackpot odds and a store near you.
Some things are meant to be together. Perfect pairs. The combos we all know and love. Like beaches and sand in your toes. A good book and the park. Or sleepy mornings and Mickey D's. It's undeniable. My personal favorite pair to help me start the day? The toasty $2.69 sausage McMuffin with egg paired with a $2 any size iced coffee. With 20 grams of protein in one sandwich and bold coffee to power my day, there's no doubt I'd call it the perfect McDonald's match. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Plus tax entitled with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The all-new JT's Kia is officially open with their new state-of-the-art showroom designed to make your buying experience fast, friendly, and hassle-free. Get grand opening 0% financing for 60 months on new Kias. Put no money down and JT's million-mile warranty. Plus savings up to 10 grand off new Kias and up to 5 grand over book value for your trade. Get to JT's Kia today, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
Are
you a small business owner, a church, or other entity in need of a new HVAC system? AAA Heating and Air has exciting news for you. AAA Heating and Air now offers financing to qualified organizations to aid them in installing a new light commercial HVAC system. It's as easy as calling 803-677-1500 for a quote or finding them online at callAAAtoday.com. Tell them Jay Phillips with 107.5 sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air. Run the Cup, the Governor's Cup Road Race, sponsored by Lexington Health. Be part of history in downtown Columbia at one of the longest running and most prestigious road races in the Southeast. The Half Marathon, 5K, and Main Street Mile are open for registration. Kids can run for free in the Kids Main Street Mile. And don't miss the post-race celebration with music, food, vendors, and a special awards ceremony. Join Lexington Health and register now for the Governor's Cup Road Race, April 10th and 11th. Learn more at runthecup.com.
At Atkins Law, we believe that if you've been hurt on the job or in a car wreck, recovery should come first. I'm Dewana Looper.
And I'm Joe Weidman.
We're not just the voices you hear, we're the faces you'll see if you come in.
Accidents can cause a lot of stress and worry. Our team shows up for you during those difficult times, offering thoughtful guidance.
We're small on purpose, local by design, and serve with compassion.
Remember, who you hire matters. Check us out at hollyatkinslaw.com.
When your money's on the line, are you okay with a basic free tax service? Get the confidence of TurboTax with free Fed and state filing on Intuit Credit Karma. Around 37% of filers qualify. Simple 1040s only. See details at turbotax.com/free.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
And no accidents that are showing up right now. That's good news for your Friday morning. We know I-20 eastbound was clear because, we made our way here to Darlington and all was good there. And weather-wise, man, it's going to be a great weekend. 76, sunny skies today. It's going to be warmer in the overnight. We appreciate that. 55 for your overnight. And then Saturday, 85, 88 on Sunday. Sunny and warm. It's going to be great at Darlington as well. It's going to be a nice warm day and a good day for racing. Sunscreen, definitely a plus this weekend. Right now, it's 40.
The Early Game. Yeah! With former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
Before I tell you what Charles Barkley and I have in common when it comes to an assessment of a certain basketball team, we'll go out to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines for the first time this morning, and we're going to talk to our pal Ray, who's checking in. Good morning, Ray. Welcome to the Early Game.
Good morning, Elijah. Good morning, Preston. Good morning, Jen. I'm great to see that Terry's there. Good morning, Terry. I'll tell you, I used to be one of those guys, Elijah, would have thought allowing these little schools into the NCAA basketball tournament was it just shouldn't happen. We should put the very best. It just shouldn't happen. But now I'm telling you, I'm the biggest fan of these little schools getting in than anybody else. I think it's the greatest thing in sports. Because I can tell you, right now in Madison, Wisconsin, man, don't you know the saloon operators, the bar owners, they just lost tens of millions of dollars. Because I'm telling you, I know Jen's from that neck of the woods, not Wisconsin, but, the Midwest, Illinois, and Tara's probably, worked in that part of the world. They love their basketball and they love to drink. And I think, man, that this is like an old top downer. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah,
you are correct. Yes.
Yeah, Terry would agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And the greatest thing about it, High Point. I bet you half the folks in Madison, Wisconsin have never heard of High Point. Couldn't even tell you what state they're in. I think that's what makes this tournament so great. When I saw that, I was like, I had this euphoria. It changed me altogether. I'm like, you know what? This is great that the little guys can get in because they do it so often. It's almost, I wouldn't say quite a trend, but it's definitely not an anomaly. It's almost every year somebody gets taken out by one of these so-called smaller no-name schools. But I think it's great. And the last thing I want to put in there about the baseball team, I think, Elijah, I think you had a good topic on the last segment talking about the pitching, kind of like, and the way I took it was like, these guys need to. It's a team sport, but you need to go out there and focus to do your job. Because I have not yet met a 19 to 23-year-old kid in major baseball, college baseball, who doesn't think they can play the big leagues one day. So, they just need to go out there and focus on themselves, improve themselves, and think about the NIL. You can go out there and play really good, and, you got a chance of making more NIL. So I think this is one time. If I'm a Gamecock baseball player, I know it's always about the team, but I'm going out there to prove myself, regardless if there's 100 people in the stands like there were last game, or 5,000. But that's all I got to say, guys. But I think it's great how the little guys win these games and just, they cause so much havoc to these big schools. Oh, my goodness, the pain, the heartache, oh, Lord, the misery. But anyway, guys, that's what I got to say. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, appreciate the call, Ray. And I think that's the beauty of it is not just, maybe the negative impact for bars in Madison, Wisconsin, but the positive impact it is for High Point and schools like High Point that come from conferences like the Big South that don't have these lucrative TV deals that, this is the best money-making chance that they have. Like, this event has such a big impact on the finances of these schools. And you're going to see that pay dividends for a place like High Point too. And the amazing thing is that so many of these schools that win 29, 30 games in the regular season only have a handful of losses, but lose in their conference tournament that were 1 seeds in their conference tournament, have a bad day and get bounced, would never get this opportunity. If High Point lost that conference title game to Winthrop, a team that did beat them at one point during the season, I believe. And if they would have lost that game, they would not have had that opportunity yesterday. I think this proves there's good basketball all over the place, man. And you get five versus five on the floor, a lot of different things can happen. That's my favorite part about this whole event.
And you proved the bracket information about the mascots because a Panther beat a Badger yesterday.
Panther beat a Badger, as expected.
As expected.
If you filled out your bracket with that methodology, you picked an upset, and you had no idea that you were going to pick the biggest upset of the day yesterday. But I don't know if you guys remember the Dream Team in 1992. I wasn't around for it, but I do remember my favorite quote from the Dream Team in the 1992 Summer Olympics in Barcelona, where Charles Barkley was asked about their opening game against Angola. And Charles Barkley says, I don't know anything about Angola, but I do know they're in trouble. And I want to tell you right now, Southern beat Samford last night at Colonial Life Arena. I don't know anything about Southern, but I know they're in trouble.
Yeah, shout out to Southern. Like I said, man, this is an awesome time for those women. They get to come, take a picture with the statue, meet Dawn Staley, get a handshake. It's an awesome trip, and they will be sent their gift bag, get their certificate, and they will be going back home to Baton Rouge very shortly, because that's just how this thing works out.
They can't say that they won a game in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of that play-in round, right? Is that you get to say that you won a game in this event. But then you get to say you got beat by 52. The Dawn Staley, legendary Dawn Staley, and the South Carolina Gamecocks, the machine that she has built here in Columbia. It's game's on Saturday. And I want to say the pregame for that is the local pregame would be myself and Tyler Head is going to be at noon, and then 12:30 is the network pregame, 1 o'clock tip for that game that you can hear on 107.5 The Game. And I mean, Brad Muller's on the call. Always gonna be fun. Brad Muller's going to make this thing interesting because he is so good at what he does. But that is going to be the most interesting part of this game. You can listen to it, you can watch it. Just know that they're going to cruise, because that's what one seeds do, and anything else would be concerning. But I don't know much about Southern. I can't tell you what they run on offense a ton. I caught a little bit of the game yesterday. I can't tell you what their defensive philosophy is because I don't think I need to. I just do know they're in trouble.
Well, Elijah, we do have the fortune. I don't know if this is a statistic, but we can beat both of the universities in Baton Rouge. We've already taken care of LSU, and now we can take care of Southern. So maybe our guy Lil Boosie's going to be mad again because we're going to beat his other school this time.
Can't spell broom without BR, I guess.
By the way, I'm not sure if you saw on the internet Lil Boosie bringing Lane Kiffin on stage.
I did see that.
In Baton Rouge.
Why does Lane Kiffin in those situations always look so uncomfortable? Like Lane Kiffin has a look on his face that somebody accused him of flatulence publicly. Like he walks up on the stage and he's just like stone faced. And it's like, dude, you have too much charisma online to not, crack a damn smile going up that stairs on that stage.
Yeah, that was interesting to say the least. But we take care of Southern and then maybe move on to the Tigers.
You know what? I would like to see it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see it. I would love nothing more than a Palmetto Series game in the NCAA tournament. That would be a lot of fun. And I don't think it happens. I think Southern Cal wins. That's how I filled it out in my bracket, is that I had Southern Cal beating Clemson. But, buddy, I'm here for the story. I hope I am wrong, but I am here for that story. Coming up next, though, in the men's tournament, a team that maybe is on upset watch in Alabama. They play Hofstra today, but that's not what I'm looking for in this game because I've got one player on Hofstra's team that I've got my eye on to maybe be a South Carolina Gamecock transfer portal target. One of the more intriguing players that's going to be playing today. And hopefully for me, he's in Garnet and Black. I'll tell you who that is coming up next here in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. Gamecock fans, get ready for something new this season. Charleston now has a new station for Carolina sports talk. Dial in to 96.9 The Game on HD3. Head to 96.9 FM and on an HD radio, punch into HD Channel 3. You'll unleash live Carolina coverage you can listen to all day long. New on HD3. It's 96.9 The Game HD3, South Carolina's newest sports station.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Bad day to be a Badger. The first big upset of the NCAA tournament was fittingly a number 12 taking down a number 5. The 12th ranked High Point. The 12th seeded High Point Panthers taking down the 5th seeded Wisconsin Badgers. It's High Point's first ever NCAA tournament win for Wisconsin. It's the third time since 2019 that they've lost a 5-12 matchup on that day.
Spring is here and the shopping list is long. Time to make a Lowe's run. Buy 3 bags, get 3 free of Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil. Plus, right now, members can earn 4 times the points on an eligible purchase. Start spring off strong with these deals and more. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 3/25 while supplies last. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change. Point boosters subject to exclusions and more terms apply. One-time only offer.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Ah, the most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file. We guarantee 100% accuracy and your maximum refund. Those are some good numbers. And you can trust me because I'm a talking calculator. Did I mention Tax Slayer even has support from real US-based humans if you have any questions along the way? Beat the rush and start for free today. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Tinson on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
With the NCAA women's tournament starting today, and the men's first round going into day number 2, there are plenty of options of basketball games to watch. However, if you are a fan of the South Carolina men's basketball team, one, bad news, they're not playing. We all knew that, though. This is a shocker to no one. But 2, there is one player playing in the Alabama-Hofstra game at 3:15 on True TV, which, no, sorry, folks, Impractical Jokers will not be on today. But 3:15 on True TV, Alabama and Hofstra are playing. There's one player in that game for the Hofstra Pride being coached by my guy, Speedy Claxton, who I've got my eye on. His name is Preston.
I like him already.
Yeah. Preston Edmeade. He's number 1 from Hofstra. He is, and the reason why if I am Lamont Paris and the staff, I am looking at him because he is an elite three-point shooter, specifically above the break, which is kind of the wing area. It's not in the corner. It's not straight away. It's at the bend of the perimeter. Why is that important to me? Because that is the easiest three-point shot you get. Is the most common three-point shot in college basketball. And if you look at something, a stat like net points added on above the break threes, he is elite nationally in that regard. He is also the CAA Freshman of the Year. Now, he's not very big. He is 6'1", but he is over 38% on threes, and he has shot over 220 of them this season. He is also an 83% free throw shooter who is pretty good, has pretty good numbers when it comes to getting to the free throw line. 2-point shooting needs a little bit of work, but I have a feeling this team is going to lean in maybe on an identity too of being able to shoot a lot of threes. That's what a lot of teams are doing in college basketball. So it's not a stretch to say South Carolina might build their team around the idea that they are going to be 3-point happy to try to open the lanes up. You need somebody who's going to knock them down consistently. Somebody who can at least be a replacement level defender who can be on the floor long enough to knock down threes. I have not gotten to watch much of Preston Edmeade this year. However, if you are the freshman of the year in a pretty good basketball league, you shoot like that, you have my attention, and you're playing an SEC team today, so I can get a good look at what you are against high-end athleticism and the type of teams that you would play on a daily basis in the SEC. Preston Thorne, I am awfully intrigued, and that is who I am looking for today specifically.
All right, that's a great reason to go out and watch that game. That gives us some intrigue to look, and that gives us another lens to look at some of these lower-ranked little guys, because we're looking like, hey, we're trying to poach some of these players. We're trying to find some guys that can play at this level. And I think Lamont and staff are in an interesting situation because I'm pretty sure that they have a lot of people that are calling them, but the people that are calling them probably can't compete in the SEC level.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then we're probably trying to call a lot of people, and the people that we're trying to call probably have their eyes on better teams that are in better situations. So being at the bottom of the SEC is a really interesting place when you're trying to work through the portal, because I'm sure a lot of people want to come play in the SEC, but can they?
Yeah. Oh, and we've seen that countless times, right? In terms of teams in the SEC that go transfer portal heavy, and they get a lot of guys who maybe can't play very well at that level compared to where they were in their other previous conferences, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes you see the translation work perfectly. Sometimes you don't see it work as seamlessly. I think LSU brought in about an additional 80-something points per game in the transfer portal this past year from guys like Dayton Thomas or Max McKinnon. It translated. They had a couple other guys on the team that were high scorers at their previous stops. It did not translate, right? And LSU had to overpay for a lot of those guys. What South Carolina may do, which they are going to increase the budget for the roster, if you are able to get that thing close to $10 million, it at least gives you an option to overpay for somebody that you really, really want. And look, we're looking at lights out 3-point shooters, true point guards or true combo guards who can play the point too. A lot of versatility. Those guys are going to be at a premium. And true point guards specifically will have a lot of demand and not a very high supply. Same thing for maybe a couple of really good bigs. You're going to need a couple of dominant bigs who live in the paint, right? Maybe at least a rim protector, even if they're not offensively dominant, somebody who can protect the rim. Also, the good ones are going to come at a premium. You may have to overpay for them to get them to South Carolina. I think even for somebody like Preston Edmeade, again, a freshman of the year in the CAA, if you look at all these smaller conferences and you look at the freshman of the year, usually they end up going somewhere else, and it's at a place that can pay them more than what anybody else would be able to pay them. That's the kind of ballpark you're having to live in, or the reality, rather, that you're having to live in if you're this South Carolina men's basketball program.
Yeah, when you say and you wonder how they got there, what was the situation? Is it because is Preston playing at LIU because he's 6'1"? If he was 6'3" or 6'4", would he be somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. And I think for Preston Edmeade right here, he is 6'1". He is a little undersized. But if you can shoot like that, I can find a spot for you on my team. Are you going to be a starter? Maybe, maybe not. But you have a role on my team because you made so many above the break 3-point shots, which again, people talk about the corner three all the time. The corner three is incredibly valuable because it is the shortest distance three-pointer and it is the most efficient. However, it is one of the hardest ones to actually get throughout your offense. The easiest shot in basketball to get is the above the break three. And you have a guy here playing in this game who is one of the best in the country at knocking down that specific shot. You need 3-point shooters on this team to be able to kind of maybe overachieve going in for next year. That's a guy that I'm incredibly intrigued with. Coming up next, though, in hour number 2, we'll talk spring football because Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy is one of those interesting players on this team, and we'll tell you why and hear from him next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by the Blood Connection.
Most assume that someone else will show up, but only 3% of the population donates blood. That's not enough. Make the call to give and save a life. Donate blood with the Blood Connection, your community blood center. Visit thebloodconnection.org to find a nearby donation center.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Plus text tags and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The all-new JT's Kia is officially open with their new state-of-the-art showroom designed to make your buying experience fast, friendly, and hassle-free. Get grand opening 0% financing for 60 months on new Kias. Put no money down and JT's million-mile warranty. Plus savings up to 10 grand off new Kias and up to 5 grand over book value for your trade. Get to JT's Kia today, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
The YMCA of Columbia is offering our listeners this sweet deal. Half off a 6-month individual or family membership. Enjoy access to all 6 Midlands locations, including the new 24/7 Chapin location opening this spring. Visit this station's website and click Sweet Deals to get yours today.
Craving the ultimate wing experience? Come visit Wing Shack in KC at 1305 Knox Abbott Drive, where Columbia's finest crispy and juicy wings await you. Enjoy bold flavors with sauces like buffalo and Thai chili. Not just wings, indulge in personal pizzas, pizza cones, fried Oreos, and more. With options for pickup, delivery, or dine-in, satisfaction is guaranteed. Now open on Reese Road in Lancaster, KC, and coming soon to Garnish Ferry Road and Winsboro. Visit wings-shack.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot. Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Looking pretty good. No accidents at this time. Slow down on I-26 eastbound between exit 101 and I-20. But aside from that, again, things moving pretty well. And the forecast looks even better. Sunny, 76 for the high today, cloudy 85 tomorrow, and mostly sunny 88 on Sunday. So good forecast ahead. Great baseball weather, great racing weekend weather as well. Right now it's 40, 107.5 The Game.
Home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. It is caught. The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
The early game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
That's right. Hour number 2 of the early game live from Darlington Raceway, brought to you by Schroeder's Towing. For all your parking lot signage and towing needs, just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck. Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town. I'm Elijah Campbell. She is Jen Jensen. And back in Columbia, our man Preston Thorne hanging out with Terry Ford, who has been gracious enough to accept the board duty. I don't know if accepting is the right term, but he was needed. Next man up.
Either, to be honest.
I'm sure Terry was like, you know what? Yeah, I want to run the board this morning. I just want to. I want to get up this morning. I want to do it.
I don't want to be awake this morning.
When that alarm went off at 3 this morning, I was like, human beings are not meant to be up this early.
Brought back some bad memories of doing morning radio. Not good.
Not for the faint of heart, my friend. No, it is not. And you know what? I think Preston can attest to this too. Neither is playing interior defensive lineman in the SEC. Not for the faint of heart. Incredibly physical, especially if you're taking a lot of snaps. It's very physical. You're playing against elite offensive linemen week in and week out. And sometimes it takes a little while to get your footing, to be able to find your spot and your role on that line. And Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy is one of the more interesting players for this Gamecock football team here this spring, because I thought he had a really good year last year. There were a couple of games where he was your best run stopper in the middle of the line of scrimmage. He was a disruptor. I thought you saw a lot of the flashes that made him one of the more highly valued high school prospects coming out of his class. Now, it didn't work at Texas A&M, a very loaded unit that he was on, didn't get, the opportunity that he felt like he deserved, came here, and I thought had a really good season last year. But he's going to have to take a larger leadership role this year. Now he is no longer the first-year guy or the new guy on campus. He is now considered one of the seasoned vets on this football team, especially that defensive line unit, which we have seen, especially at the leadership spot, that be one of the most important elements of that line. Because Preston Thorne, you remember 2024, you were alive for that. That defensive line with guys like Tonka and TJ and Boogie, a lot of intangible leadership qualities there that really made 2024 feel different than 2025, even when you put the record aside.
Yeah, when you look back on it, you're gonna really think like, man, those dudes, they had a squad there, because not only were they excellent athletes, but they were guys who had been in the program for several years, also known throughout the state as high character type of dudes. So they had everything you would want, the ideal situation, and they were unselfish with their playing time. So yeah, I don't know if we'll ever be able to replace that level of player, both from the athletic and the leadership example, but that's what you're going to strive for.
Because last year, it felt like that leadership that we mentioned with those guys on the interior of the defensive line, with them not being back last season, it felt like that might have been missing. And if you were watching this team in 2025, you might have maybe hypothesized that there was maybe a little bit of leadership lacking. That's the type of thing that happens when you have so many games where you either have the lead going into the fourth quarter or it's a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and you constantly found yourself falling short. Sometimes you maybe can boil it down to a non-football reason like leadership, right? Well, when Gabriel Brown-Lodindi spoke earlier this week, this will be cut 3 on yesterday's list, Terry, Gabe talked a little bit about the defense lacking some of that leadership.
Definitely like Sean Murphy, Peyton, that he just came in here. Yeah, there's a lot of other people, Fred Johnson, there's a lot of other people that are definitely taking that role, because we see the need that we saw what we lacked last year, and we're not going to let that happen again. So we're definitely trying to find more leadership roles around just the team in general.
Trying to find leadership roles, because he said that was something they lacked last year, and he's already kind of tabbed, Sean Murphy and, Fred J.R. Johnson and a couple of guys, Peyton Williams, on the team as guys who are going to attempt to be able to get those roles and make sure that same very thing is not missing for this year's team.
Yeah, and when you think about the idea of leadership, it's a broad umbrella, but there's a lot of things that fall underneath that. There's a guy that's going to need to be the leader at practice, making sure that we get in our drills right. There's going to be a dude that maybe he's the leader as far as getting the defense lined up. Maybe there's another leadership guy who's just the attitude guy. There's all different ways that leadership can take hold, and what you do in the spring is you try and figure out, where do I fit in? Or, as what Terry and I were just talking, you figure out because you can't declare yourself a leader. You have to be, in order to be a leader, you have to have followers. And so you have to be the person that people want to follow. And that can be through the way you work, or that can be through your performance or your character, or whatever the case is. But you don't really get the chance to say, I'm the leader. And people, that's not how that really goes in a locker room. So through the spring, you have to establish all of these things, and hopefully people will follow them. That's
why things like team captains are voted upon, right? You can't say, all right, you can't do the Captain Phillips thing where you go, hey, look at me, I'm the captain now, right? This may work, on a boat in the Horn of Africa, right? With pirates taking over a ship. It may work that way. This doesn't work that way in a football locker room. That respect has to be earned. It has to be voted upon in terms of who the leaders are going to be from a captain standpoint, right? Like, to your point, you have to be able to show that you have that capability, not just as a player or somebody, who's trying to exhibit excellent work ethic, but somebody who can get people to fall in line and fall behind them and be able to achieve all of the team goals. And Gabriel Brown-Lodindi said that they didn't have that last year. This will be cut 1 from that same list, Terry. This is Gabriel Brown-Lodindi talking about himself maybe stepping up as a leader and trying to fill that void.
I'm really not like an outspoken type of person, but I know that there had needed some change, just kind of like in like last year, there was a lack of like just leadership as a whole and just cracking down on the small things. And I feel like, for us to be able to take another step, that me along with other people have to take in the role to be able to, say different things, the hard things that need to be said. I think I had to get in that role.
And at points last year too, there were times where that would have been really necessary. Kind of like, Terry, when I was on Terry from 3 to 6 yesterday, we were talking about the same thing. And it would have been nice to have somebody maybe step up in that Texas A&M game where you see the lead not so slowly slipping away, right? A&M came out of that halftime break and they did exactly what you need to when you're down 30-3. And in order to stop that bleeding, maybe somebody needs to step up and mentally regroup everybody, calm everybody down, but also light a fire in them, a very difficult balance to strike there, but be able to get everybody on the same page to not allow what ultimately was allowed.
Yeah, and again, as you said, it's a very delicate balance. Like, as I was once told, a pat in the back is only a few inches from a kick in the rear end. So, you got to know when to deploy both of those things. But to your point, Elijah, he can't be appointed by the coaches, right? He can't. The coaches can't just put somebody in and say he's going to be the leader now. It's a real delicate dance in a locker room that it has to develop over time, and that's awesome that Gabriel's going to attempt to take on that responsibility. But once you do that, everybody's looking at you. That means, what that means? That means you have to touch the line in sprints. That means you have to be out to practice early. You can't fall asleep in the film room when it's lunchtime and you're supposed to be on a diet. You got to get a sandwich instead of the fried chicken over there. So, like, you got to do a lot of things that I hope he's ready to do. But sometimes it's like, I don't know if I want to be a leader. I just want to be a D tackle today. And you don't get a chance to choose that.
You can't turn that switch off.
Right.
Like it's such an important role on any team that has to be on, at all times. And that's what makes that difficult. If it was easy, anybody can and will do it. Right.
Exactly.
But here's the big thing too. He says he's not much of a vocal guy, which is totally fine.
Cool.
We've talked about leadership being different leadership styles. Right. In this instance, he doesn't have to be maybe the rah-rah guy. We saw what happened when Aaron Judge tried to be the rah-rah guy. It came off as maybe a little inauthentic, right? Russell Wilson, I like to use as like the poster boy example of inauthentic leadership, right? I don't think he earned a lot of respect of his teammates in Denver when he said, you know what, I want to have my own office here in the facility like I'm a coach. And you know what? My door's open at any time. You guys can come to by my office any single time. That doesn't come off as peer level. That doesn't come off as like football level leadership. You don't have to be something you're not, but you do ultimately have to do a lot of things that you just mentioned, which is touching the line on sprints. And maybe if you're on a diet and you have to keep, a certain playing weight, showing people how to be disciplined in that regard, something that I have not been very good at, because if I see cheesecake, I'm going to eat cheesecake, right? That is my biggest issue. That is a fatal flaw. My sweet tooth may one day kill me. But maybe if somebody else is like myself on that team and they see Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy doing that or doing the extra things, showing up early, maybe setting a standard of showing up to the building earlier than expected, in implementing the Tom Coughlin rule, where if you're not 15 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late, right? At minimum, that's the type of stuff that may be more geared to his leadership style. If you are not maybe the vocal roundup guy that maybe a lot of other players on this team may be more qualified personality wise to be.
Yeah. And you just have to work on finding those people, and those people will emerge. And that's what you use the spring for.
Because people, teammates, especially when you're with the same people all the time and you've gotten to know each other the way you have, they know when you're being authentic, when you're not. Like, you're not going to fool them. That's the thing. You're never going to fool somebody if you all of a sudden, are going to try to be something that you're not. People can sense it, even if they're not with you all the time. I think inauthenticity is one of those things, a trait in people that you can just sense, right? You can get a glimpse of just by hanging out with somebody for maybe even just a short amount of time. But Gabriel is on that defensive line. The defensive line is going to play a big role in terms of stopping the run, helping get to the quarterback, right? there is a high standard that has been set by a lot of those guys that he mentioned that were, or he didn't mention, I mentioned, that were leaders, right? Your Tonka Hemingways, your TJ Sanders, your Boogie Huntleys. There was a high level of expectation that those guys set from a leadership standpoint and a performance standpoint. Well, what does Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy think about the defensive tackle room right now as we're only a couple of practices into spring? This will be cut too from that same list, Harry. This is what he had to say about the room itself.
I feel like we complement each other very well, just on the like run stopping, pass rushing and stuff like that. I think that we really work well with each other when it comes to that, and like getting to know each other. Obviously, we have a lot of new people that have come in, freshmen, transfers, and I feel like we've done a good job trying to get to know each other and figure out how each other plays.
And I think we know how Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy plays. I think he is in an interesting spot, not just because of the leadership thing or stepping up in terms of being vocal or anything like that. I think from a pure football standpoint, his ability to stop the run has to complement what you have on the edges. And I think that maybe his superpower as a player is being a really good space eater and run stopper.
Yeah, and if you enjoy doing that, it's always good to be somebody that enjoys doing that while the other guy gets to rush the passer and do those things. That's what he's talking about, that complementary style. If one person loves to do that, let that person do that. If one person doesn't love to do it, don't make them do that. And if you have different types of players, it allows for the whole to be a lot better.
Now, coming up next, it's the early game morning meeting, and we're going to have a little bit of an economics discussion here because how lucrative exactly is the NCAA tournament advancements in both men's and women's tournaments? What exactly is the type of money that South Carolina is missing out on by not participating on the men's side? And what's it like now with the new TV deal for the women's side? Well, Yahoo Sports did a fantastic breakdown of that, and we're going to take a look at what they found coming up next here in the early game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
This hour of in-show listening on 107.5 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Preston here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, no problem. They'll come out to your location and they'll replace it for you, usually for free, and they'll work directly with your insurance to take away the headache. That's right. They'll come out to wherever you are. School, home, work, does not matter. Absolute Glass will come out to you and take care of the job for you. Now, if you're at home, you're watching the games, you're looking around, you're saying, I can make some improvements around this place, Absolute Glass could take care of that for you too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. Say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
BOGO is back at iMart Express.
Okay.
Right now, for a limited time only, new customers can buy their first pair of glasses and get a second pair free. Plus, with eye exams available and same-day glasses, you'll never miss a moment. It's the kind of savings and service you can really get used to.
Okay.
Find a location near you at imartexpress.com to shop our BOGO event today and see everything we have in store for you. iMart Express. Get glasses. Go see.
Plus tax tags and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The all-new JT's Kia is officially open with their new state-of-the-art showroom designed to make your buying experience fast, friendly, and hassle-free. Get grand opening 0% financing for 60 months on new Kias. Put no money down and JT's million-mile warranty. Plus savings up to 10 grand off new Kias and up to 5 grand over book value for your trade. Get to JT's Kia today, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor and call a Groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Schedule a free inspection with Mount Valley Foundation Services, a Groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Bill Gunner here for Corley Pool Solutions. Pool season is upon us. That's right. It's time to make sure your pool is maintained and ready to use. And you know who is the absolute best in the Midlands? Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions. With their flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals, you know exactly what you are paying for. So if you're tired of maintaining your pool by yourself, call the pros. Call Corley Pool Solutions. 803-445-8109. Line up your maintenance today.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia. Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
And we are not seeing any accidents. Man, everybody's doing great this morning. That's a good thing. And we are seeing that just some congestion there. I-26 eastbound between exit 125 and 129. Part of that due to a little bit of construction there on the highway. Forecast, beautiful. 76, sunny today. 85 tomorrow, 88 with sunshine on Sunday. And it's trying to warm up a little bit. Right now, it is 40 on 107.5 The Game.
The Early Game. Yes! With former Gamecocks Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
Good morning. Repeat after me. Today will be an awesome day.
Yeah, well.
Let's go. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day. Good morning, great today. Today will be an awesome day.
Man, Jen got her phone out and got the flashlight out like we're at a concert. I was like, man, I should put mine up too. I just put my hands in the air and dance a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a wild woman.
That's right.
Get
Jen,
into a track, it's good.
you get Jen out here to Darlington Raceway and you get maximum Jen Jensen. As the kids would say, you are Jen Maxing.
I am
right
Jen
now.
Maxing, even with the walker.
Even with the walker. It does not stop Jen Jensen from getting up to this press box. A procedure will not stop her.
Absolutely.
From covering this race. We're going to talk about this race a lot more in depth with Josh Harris, who is the man. That's the title I've given him.
The man?
Is the man. Capital T, capital M, the man.
Okay.
For Darlington Raceway.
I wonder if that's on his business card.
If it's not, it should be.
It should be.
I highly recommend
Mm-hmm.
that Josh at least think about putting that on there.
Yeah.
You know?
Have it on his shirt.
Yeah.
I'm the man.
The man at Darlington Raceway.
Yeah.
Not too many.
I
years.
am too tough to tame.
Yeah, yes, Josh Harris, the man himself who is too tough to tame, the man who is in charge here at the track that is too tough to tame. We'll talk to him in the 8 o'clock hour. But first, for the early game morning meeting, we have a little bit of an economics lesson here. The economics behind the NCAA tournament. Now, the action and the drama on the floor itself is the most intriguing part to the fan, right? You probably didn't, sneak up a tab on your computer at work yesterday to catch glimpses of these games thinking, oh boy, I really hope the Big Ten wins this game so they can get a units payout. No, I don't think you did. I don't think you watched that thinking, oh man, if Georgia does win this game tonight against St. Louis, that's going to give the SEC more money because of, the more unit payouts. And that's good for Georgia because Georgia will get a higher end of that. That's not what you're thinking.
No.
You're thinking advancement in the tournament because that's the fun part of sports, right? But this is a $1 billion enterprise. The NCAA tournament is, and the NCAA tournament television deal is probably the most lucrative, or not probably, is the most lucrative in sports, one of the most lucrative in all of sports, right? Definitely the most lucrative in college, one of the most lucrative in all of sports. It is a massive TV deal. So you may be thinking to yourself, now that I have mentioned it, wow, how much do these conferences get? And Ben Portnoy at the Sports Business Journal, our pal, Ben Portnoy, did a report. Yahoo did some reporting about the women's tournament too, because that payout's going to be a little different because now the new media rights deal for the women's tournament, which is valued about $65 million a year, kicks in. So now they are going to have a unit system where leagues and teams are able to get money for the units they're able to do, which is just games that you play throughout the tournament. The more games get played, the higher share of the revenue that the NCAA doles out is going to be for your conference. And most conferences do the right thing, and that is give more money to the teams that actually participated in those units. Mm-hmm. But for the men's, just to give you an idea of kind of what is on the line. Now, here's some backstory too. These units are paid out over the course of 6 years on the men's side. They're paid out over 3 years on the women's side. So the women's side will get their share faster than the men would. 6 years is a long time to spread these bad boys out.
No kidding.
But just by virtue of being in the tournament, for the SEC to get 10 teams in the tournament has equated out to about $3.5 million, according to Sports Business Journal and our pal, Ben Portnoy. Big Ten getting 9 teams is $3.15 million. The ACC with 8, $2.8 million. Big 12 with 8, $2.8 million. The Big East with 3 is a smidge over $1 million. The West Coast Conference getting a smidge over $1 million just by virtue of their teams playing. Now Gonzaga is going to get them some more units, so they will be able to collect on that. The Atlantic 10, which got 2 teams in, is getting $700,000. Same thing for the MAC, which is a pretty big deal for the MAC. And because Miami, Ohio won that first 4 game, that number will go up because that is another unit they'll get to play when they play Tennessee later today. And if they beat Tennessee, that's more money for the MAC. If Akron ends up pulling off the upset against Texas Tech, that's more money for the MAC. It is a pretty significant number for especially conferences of that size. And then in terms of how things will end up kind of paying out the more you go, like this year, the entire tournament will offer more than $270 million on the men's side. And if you do the math, because this year is the first year that they are going to do units for the Final Four national championship game. Before this year, they used to go all the way up to the Elite Eight. It was first 4 to the Elite Eight, and then the unit system kind of stopped after that. So now in this kind of new format, there are 135 units up for grabs, according to Yahoo Sports too. I'm taking from 2 different articles here to give us a good look as to how this has maybe changed in the previous years. And roughly, with all the numbers that I just told you for the conferences, that equates to roughly $350,000 a year over the 6 years to those schools. And of course, the most you go through, the more money you're able to get. Now, one of the big changes for the women's side is it's the new media rights deal is kicking in. And now they have units, which the NCAA men's bracket has been doing the unit system since 1991. This will be the first year that the women's side, according to Yahoo Sports, is going to be getting those 2. And this is going to give you an idea of how much more beneficial this will be to conferences that get their women's teams in the NCAA tournament. I'm taking this from the Yahoo Sports article. It says for the 2025 tournament, the pool totaled $15 million, making each unit worth about $113,000. The fund increased to $20 million, representing 26% of the women's basketball media revenue deal this year. It goes to $25 million for the 2027 tournament, which is going to be 41% of the revenue. And the fully funded amount will be $25 million with a 2.9% annual growth rate, the same as all other Division I funds. So now is pretty much all that to say, Jen Jensen, that the advancement in the women's tournament now is more lucrative than it ever has been now that they have implemented a unit system. So we don't have to just equate a lot of money making to advancement in the tournament to the men's. You can also get a nice hefty sum from being able to advance on the women's side.
I like seeing that. I like seeing the growth in that. I mean, you're seeing that a little bit as far as popularity. I think that's increasing, seeing more bracket challenges and things like that. You're starting to see even more in the WNBA, even, you're starting to see increases in that. So I love seeing that there's a little more sharing of the wealth.
Yeah, more skin in the game, which I
like
think
that.
Incentivizes schools to be able to invest in those programs too. And thankfully at South Carolina, you're in good
That's
shape.
not a problem.
Yeah, advancing in this tournament will be no problem for South Carolina. I have them in my Final Four.
Kitching.
I have them in my Final Four, and just think if you're able to get to another national championship game, it's a lot of units that you can gross out. So that's certainly one of the biggest changes when you just kind of look at the economic angle of the NCAA tournament, which again, I understand that's not what we're thinking of when we're watching these games, nor should it be. That I think you do get to go on Nerd Alert for it.
Yeah.
But
it's
does,
interesting. I had no idea.
It does
that level.
become part of the story at that point, even if we are more enamored with buzzer beaters and massive upsets. So that's fun. That was the economics lesson of the day. I'll never be confused with an economics professor. I just know what I can read online. The glasses may insinuate otherwise. Maybe if I just wore a sweater in here or something, or a cardigan.
Oh, yeah, you might.
Then maybe I could pull that off. I'd have to shave my beard and cut my hair though, and I just don't think I'm willing to do that anytime soon. But coming up next, we talked about Gabriel Brown-Lodendi maybe being one of the more interesting players for the South Carolina team on the defensive line. The same thing could be said by with a couple of other players on the back end of the defense. I'll tell you who those players are and what they had to say during their media availability this week. Coming up next here on the Early Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com.
It's your boy, Elijah Campbell, here to tell you about my friends over at the Ecton Law Firm. John Ecton and his team at the Ecton Law Firm have been taking care of your tax anxieties for a long, long time. You're behind on taxes, you're having trouble resolving certain income or business tax issues. Well, John and his team at the Ecton Law Firm are here for you to take care of those issues, right? They've been doing this for a long time in the great state of South Carolina, which makes them perfectly qualified to offer you the peace of mind that you know you deserve. And these proven local solutions that they've been able to develop over the course of these decades have helped thousands of families and businesses just like yours escape the very intimidating IRS maze. Give them a call, 803-771-9800 to set up that free consultation, or you can always visit them at ectonlawfirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com.
Sponsored by Odoo.com. All your business apps in one place. Your business deserves tools to make you feel in control, not overwhelmed. With Odoo's all-in-one, easy-to-use platform, everything is together so you can focus on what matters. Start at odoo.com today. That's ODOO.com.
Plus, tags and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The all-new JT's Kia is officially open with their new state-of-the-art showroom designed to make your buying experience fast, friendly, and hassle-free. Get grand opening 0% financing for 60 months on new Kias. Put no money down and JT's million-mile warranty. Plus, savings up to 10 grand off new Kias and up to 5 grand over book value for your trade. Get to JT's Kia today, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more or call them at 803-520-6837 and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Hendrick.
Why shop for a Chevy or GMC the way you always have? Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now, but make no payments for 3 months. Experience the Hendrick difference.
With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Start your day with Drake C. Toll.
I'm Drake Toll, on the air from 6 a.m. to 9 Eastern, getting you to work every day. To do that with Westwood One, the Oxford University of Names in Sports Media. Buckle up.
Finn, Black, and Abdallah.
That shot was insane.
Is that what you would say on the air?
You're the play-by-play guy.
Abdallah being testy. All right, here we go.
And Westwood One Sports Night.
Stay on the line, get on the call, talk about whatever you want. That's what we're doing on Westwood One Sports Night.
Westwood One Sports Talk. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot. Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington, sponsored by Schroeder's Towing on the Game.
You heard our pal Chris Logan. We are live. The Early Game from Darlington Raceway, brought to you by Schroeder's Towing. For all your parking lot signage and towing needs, dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck. Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town. Now, for South Carolina, you're going to need your secondary players in the secondary, the back end of your defense, to be the best and fastest hitters in town. Switch that up a little bit.
Nicely done.
Right? You got to be able to separate. Look at that. Not my first rodeo, but it's not Peyton Williams' first rodeo either. He is now a seasoned vet on this team. This is a guy that a couple of years ago in 2024 played an important role, maybe not on the every snap count basis that he's going to be expected to be this year and that he was on more so last year, but he played an important role of when somebody went down and they needed to be spelled a few snaps. Peyton Williams came in there and played pretty well, and you see a lot of the flashes. Last year, he played in a larger, expanded role and had some highlight plays. You know that Peyton Williams has it up here in between the ears. He's a very smart football player. I still think one of the highlights of the year for me is watching him pick off Garrett Nussmeier in the end zone at LSU, and after the game saying, we recognize that play. They ran it on us last year. We recognized it at the snap. We knew that it's going to be a slant. I just jumped the route and was able to get the interception. Guy can study the film. Guy knows exactly what he's looking for, and he's going to need that, right? We just played the clip a couple of segments ago of Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy on this defense, talking about maybe it lacked a little bit of leadership. And, well, Peyton Williams is going to be in a position now where he's going to be looked upon as maybe more of a leader, considering he is one of the more seasoned vets. Gone are DQ Smith. Gone is now Brandon Cisse. He was here for a good time, not a long time, but he played a lot of college football. And, of course, Jalen Kilgore, who had started ever since he stepped foot on campus, will not be here next year. Peyton Williams is the elder statesman in that secondary. And this will be cut 5 from yesterday's list, Terry. Peyton talked about his experience now and his perspective being the older guy in the secondary.
Definitely, it's weird. Time flies by. I had, DQ and Jalen there with me, but, they're gone now. So, taking on the role, I'm just got to step up as a leader, be more vocal. But, yeah.
Yeah, he knows. But, yeah. It reminds me of the
You got to be more vocal. That's all.
That's all. I mean, he hit us with the Forrest Gump, and it's like, that's all I have to say about that.
It was actually kind of funny.
I love it. But
what a new role for him.
It is. And it's exciting for him too, because now he's going to be looked at to make that jump. It's the same type of jump that you saw guys like DQ Smith get to make. Or if you want to get another example, like Nick Emenwari made a really big jump over his 3 years here in this program. Jalen Kilgore made a jump to where from year 1 to year 2, he went from being an impact freshman to leading the SEC in interceptions. Last year wasn't the year Jalen necessarily wanted, and a lot of that was due to the lingering hamstring stuff, which I can tell you firsthand, that injury does linger for a while, right?
You are an expert.
I unfortunately became an expert this past summer of how long.
From football drills, right?
Totally. It was totally not a slow pitch softball game in which I just tore it rounding second, heading for third. Totally not that. It was not that at all. If you think so, you're being correct. But for Peyton Williams now, he'll be expected to make that jump. And of course, we've seen it under Clayton White and Torian Gray. Coach Gray has been so good at developing defensive backs. Clayton White's been so good at just developing defensive players into growing into larger roles. Peyton Williams is going to be asked to do a lot of that this year. To me, that makes him, along with Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, one of the more interesting players in this spring period, because of that jump they're going to have to make. And if they make that jump, then we'll see the defense play at a level again that will allow the offense a larger margin for error to still be able to be in the game. And then, of course, complementary football, all those cliches. If they're able to make that jump, then to at least offense being acceptable, not being last in the SEC, then you're going to get a couple more wins than you did last season. And if they go from jumping from being bad to good as opposed to just average or good enough, if they become really good, then you can see maybe what you saw in 2024, because that was really when things came together, right? The defense was great all year long. The last 6 games of the year, you saw a version of Lenora Sellers that was the best version of Lenora Sellers and this Gamecock offense, and the result was a 9-win season. We've seen the formula. We saw what happened when that formula does not come together, right? Or when maybe you misread something on the ingredient list when you're making something and it doesn't turn out the way you hope. The ingredients this year call for at least an above average offense and the defense continuing what they have been doing the last couple of years. But that defense part only starts if Peyton Williams is able to make that jump, if Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy is able to make that jump. To me, that's what makes both of those players incredibly interesting. But when you look at the DB room too, you also have some young impact players. One of my favorite freshmen on this team right now, because of just how good he was at the high school level here locally at South Point over in Rock Hill, is Jazavian Currents. Now, what makes him so fascinating isn't necessarily what he did as a defensive back, but the fact that he was forced to play quarterback earlier in the year, and he did what his team needed him to do. And guess what? It resulted in a state championship, right? We love those types of players who are willing to do whatever it takes to be able to win football games.
But we need that here.
We need it. We need it bad. And Peyton Williams now has had a couple of practices with Jazavian Currents. He has shared the field with Jazavian Currents. What does Peyton Williams think about this intriguing new freshman? This will be cut 6 on yesterday's list, Terry. This is Peyton talking about that impact freshman from South Point.
Yeah, I'm excited for that group. We got some of those guys who I can't wait to see play. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm excited. But I can't wait. But they've been good. We're good back there.
With Currents being one of the new guys, what's your impression of him? These first
he's gonna be a player. He learns fast. He picks things up. You tell him one time and he has it. He asks questions. He's a fast. He's physical. So I'm excited to see him play.
Now, the physicality aspect, the athleticism aspect is something we all already knew, right? We knew that about Jazavian Currents, that he's a really good football player. What I like to hear is Peyton Williams discussing, he's asking questions. He's picking things up. You coach him on something, he's going to learn it. You don't have to tell him the same thing multiple times. You compound that ability to be coachable, be a student of the game, be curious enough to ask the older guys questions and the coaches questions. That's going to help further your development, or at least speed track it, right? We're in a speedway right now, a raceway, all about speed here at Darlington. He can fast track his development with that type of attitude. Gerald Kilgore, also another interesting player who's going to see his role increase now that his brother is going to the NFL. And we saw some glimpses from Gerald with a couple of interceptions last year. Makes him one of those same intriguing players in the secondary. Gerald also talked about Jazavian Currents. This will be cut 8 on that list, Terry. Here's Gerald talking about Jazavian.
Amazing. He's picking up things like really, really fast, and picking up way faster than I even picked it up, or really I feel like anyone. And that's just a testament to Coach White. That's a testament to Coach Gray, the way that they coach. And that's a testament to us as well as the leaders of the room, because, this spring has been very, very – Coach White has asked a lot of us this spring, starting from the beginning, taking exams, taking quizzes, like just, we gotta know this stuff and take it to a next level. Cause I feel like a lot of people say, now, defense, never really did so bad, but in Coach White's eyes, it's like, we got to do better. Our goal is to be the top defense in the nation. And, being able to teach younger guys like that and them being able to pick up fast, like Zay is doing, and a lot of the other guys as well, it's amazing. So it's only gonna make our room better.
I find that to be so encouraging.
That's very encouraging.
I love that, because when you hear from Peyton Williams and Gerald Kilgore, the thing they mentioned is how eager he is to pick things up, to study, to ask questions. And I also love the mindset that Clayton White has instilled in this defense too. Like, yes, anybody on the outside will not chalk up the 4-8 season to the defense. I don't think anybody's going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some failures, yes, but I don't think you're chalking up the total failure of the season to the defense. But to Clayton White, that's not good enough, because there's always room to get better, and they have a goal to be the best defense in the country.
Yes.
And that makes me feel confident that the guys that are in Gerald Kilgore's spot, Jazavian Currents' spot, Peyton Williams' spot, Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy's spot, can maybe help you get to that point. But coming up next, though, the NCAA tournament continues. The women's tournament starts today in the first round. It's day 2 of the first round for the men. Which game are we the most excited about? Well, we'll discuss to round out hour number 2 next on the early game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Friday, April 3rd, the Spring Golf Classic at Charwood in West Columbia with our buddies Rock and Daniel Lucas. And we have Saki's Morning Libations Bar before tee-off. Also, the classic onion sausage presented by the Lexington Gamecock Club. Yeah, I know you're going to ask. We have the golf gun. All that Friday, April 3rd. Again, $400 a team, $100 for an individual. 803-755-2000 and press number 2. April 3rd. It's the Spring Golf Classic from the Game.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
First round fireworks in Portland. A 12-seed High Point pulled off the stunner of the tournament so far, downing 5th seed Wisconsin 83-82. In a poetic twist, 3-point specialist Chase Johnston drove for a fast break layup with 11 seconds left, his first 2-point basket of the season to give the Panthers the lead and the upset victory. I'm Drake Toll.
No! It's just a golf lesson, champ. Loosen up. I can't. See that Hyundai Santa Fe? Yeah. I only paid. Finish up on your own. I gotta run.
Deal's so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Get 0% APR for 60 months, plus 0 payments for 90 days on the Hyundai Tucson, Tucson Hybrid, Santa Fe, or Santa Fe Hybrid. Now, during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Hurry, offer ends March 31st. Call 562-314-4603 for details.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
My family just went for something to do on a nice spring Saturday, and wow.
You want fun? You want adventure? You need to experience Tartan Day South Celtic Festival, built by Culpeper Wood. Check out the Highland Games, strongman competitions that will make you want to put on a kilt, concerts, dancing, a parade, a British car show. We've got animal shows, knights in armour, and birds of prey that kids will love. Learn about the Celtic influence on our nation's founding as we celebrate 250 years. But there's so much more. The fun starts with a rocking and rollicking Celtic concert, Friday, March 27th at the Icehouse Amphitheatre, that will make you get up and dance. Then celebrate with a full day of festivities on Saturday at the historic Columbia Speedway. Kids under 12 getting free March 27th and 28th. Get your tickets now at tartandaysouth.com. We promise you're going to love it.
It's like nothing I've ever experienced before. My kids and I were blown away.
Life Matters. A church in Sweden made international headlines this year by unveiling a 6-foot-tall statue of Jesus made out of 30,000 Lego blocks. It took 40 volunteers about 18 months to put all those tiny plastic pieces together. This Lego version of the Savior now stands behind the church altar, and children from across Sweden are absolutely fascinated by it and can't help touching the white plastic artwork. You know, I sometimes wonder if those kids know something we adults have forgotten. I think children instinctively know Jesus is worth touching and seeing, so they take the extra time to draw close and admire the Son of God. I believe that life really is better when we invest the time necessary to draw close to the Savior. Why not join us this Sunday at 9 or 11 at Christian Life Church on Bush River Road in Columbia and spend some time in His presence? Remember, friends, life matters, and so do you.
The Early Game. Yes! With former Gamecocks Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
Before we get to our intriguing games of the day, men's and women's NCAA tournament action, we did get a text earlier on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100. It's the same number as the AAA heating and air phone lines. We make it convenient for you. Text reads, hey, say, man, all these units and millions being made by these universities is cool and all, but let's take the gloves off. When are we going to address the elephant in the room? Elijah lobbying for Wisconsin on the on the airways, influencing listeners, brackets only for them to lose on day one.
You didn't make any promises.
Didn't make any promises. Oh, but I talked it up. I did love that Wisconsin team, though. I did. I think I had good reasoning for it.
Well, it was not like it was a blowout. I mean, it could have gone either way.
Honestly, I thought Wisconsin, that which I think maybe in terms of entertainment value, that was maybe the best game of the day. I know VCU North Carolina went to overtime, and it featured a historic meltdown from the Tar Heels. But that High Point Wisconsin game might have had it beat in terms of entertainment value. Maybe because the underdog element was a little greater than the VCU one.
Okay.
But I thought like Wisconsin had a 9-point lead with about 3 minutes and some change left. I thought that was really the time that they were going to put it away. Wisconsin missed a couple of shots at the basket. High Point had, I think it's Chase Johnson, who's the kid who wears number 99, which interesting uniform number choice. Very interesting uniform number choice, but also less than 5 or 6 seconds were off the shot clock when he hoisted one up from near half court and drilled it. I had this really weird feeling where I was like, oh boy, we're about to enter real scary hours here in this game.
It's March Madness.
It's March Madness. Yeah. I got marched yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And for all those people who picked Duke, buddy, you were sweating it out. You might have felt like you were getting marched for the first, 30 minutes of that game. Then Duke took the lead, and I don't think they surrendered it after that. But they only ended up winning by 6 points. They were down by as much as 13 in the second half to 16 seeded Siena. That's the fun of this thing, man. That's the whole fun of this entire exercise. Is you may think we know something, but the truly great tournaments in this event's history are the ones that prove that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that in a one game elimination setting, a lot of weird stuff can happen. That's why I love it. I am mad at it. High Point's fun to watch. And that is one team that I think really, really flexed yesterday, their style of play.
So how far do they go? Not that we're going to listen to you anymore.
That's right. Up, yeah, don't. Actually, if you are a betting man or woman, I think it would be very fair to take whatever I say here and just do the opposite. Costanza this thing, right? I think Arkansas is probably going to overwhelm them with a little more athleticism. I don't know. As much as I loved Wisconsin's guards, and I love John Blackwell and Nick Boyd, who scored 27 and 22 points in that game, respectively, I don't know how well they're going to be able to keep Darius Acuff away from the basket because, not many teams in the country are at any level of basketball. But when you're a team that shoots like High Point does, where you will hoist up threes, you will make a high percentage of them, and you're a team that takes care of the ball and forces a lot of turnovers, they're the only team in the country, Jen Jensen, that is top 5 in both offensive turnover percentage in terms of just not turning the ball over and defensive turnover percentage where they turn the other team over. They, on average, are out shooting their opponents, not by percentage, but just number of shots. They just win the shot battle, right? And the math plays in your favor. You have more bites at the apple. You increase your chance of winning. That will be High Point's formula. If they can force Arkansas into turnovers and Arkansas plays sloppy and High Point's hitting a lot of shots, it will be interesting. But I still don't think they do it, which means bet on High Point and make yourself a little bit of money. Today, however, a lot of interesting games. And I think I want to start with the one that I think maybe America is most intrigued with. Miami of Ohio playing Tennessee. Miami, Ohio, kind of the darling of the nation right now because of what they did in the regular season. You went undefeated. You deserve to be in this thing. And then people felt slighted that they were sent to the first 4 in Dayton after losing their quarterfinal game in the MAC tournament to Frank Martin and UMass. And what did Miami, Ohio do? Become flamethrowers. They couldn't miss from the outside, it felt like, at certain points in that game. They could not stop hitting threes on SMU. Now they play Tennessee. Tennessee at their best. Terry and I have talked about this a lot. Tennessee at their best is really good. But Tennessee has maybe one of the worst fatal flaws of any team in this tournament is they are turnover happy on offense. They are careless with the rock. And if you're careless with the rock and you do not defend the perimeter in this game, they might be in a little bit of trouble. They could certainly be in a little bit of trouble. Now, Tennessee's got a couple of really good shot blockers. It's going to be hard for, I think, Miami, Ohio to score on the interior. But I don't think the Red Hawks have any problem, any issue whatsoever of chucking up 45 threes in this game. If anything, that's probably where they're going to be the most comfortable. And then, of course, the women's side of things will start today, too. Many games there. And we can't get into all of them right now because we got to get to break. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Coming up next, here to kick off hour number 3 of the early game, our man Josh Harris
and
is
the haulers
going to join
are coming
us.
in.
Oh, look at them right now, a whole row of them. It is that time. The sun's coming up. The haulers are coming in, and they're getting ready for race weekend. Hour number 3 of the early game with our pal Josh Harris is next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Lexington Health has been named a meritorious hospital by the American College of Surgeons for achieving exceptional surgical patient outcomes. Find world-class surgical care close to home. Visit lexhealth.com to learn more.
Sponsored by odoo.com. All your business apps in one place. Your business deserves tools to make you feel in control, not overwhelmed. With Odoo's all-in-one, easy-to-use platform, everything is together so you can focus on what matters. Start at odoo.com today That's ODOO.com.
Plus tax, tags, and title with approved credit. Call 888-411-7640 for details. March is a race against time at JT's Jeep Ram. JT is selling every single Ram regardless of profit or loss. Every credit application and offer accepted. JT's been challenged to sell 150 Rams, making deals the other dealers can't. New Rams, light duty, heavy duty, up to $15,000 off with 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Ram Truck Month.
Need a roof? Trust Crescent Construction. With over 20,000 roofs installed and counting, they've got the experience you need. They specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, and general contracting. Visit CrescentCarolina.com today for free estimates and free inspections. That's right, no cost, no commitment. Crescent Construction. Quality you can count on. For all your roofing and construction needs, visit CrescentCarolina.com now.
Bill Gunner here for Corley Pool Solutions. Pool season is upon us. That's right. It's time to make sure your pool is maintained and ready to use. And you know who is the absolute best in the Midlands? Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions. With their flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals, you know exactly what you are paying for. So if you're tired of maintaining your pool by yourself, call the pros. Call Corley Pool Solutions. 803-445-8109. Line up your maintenance today.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Looking for a dealership that treats you like family? Come to Herndon Chevrolet, where we've been proudly serving Lexington and the Midlands for over 50 years. Whether you're shopping for a new or pre-owned vehicle or just need expert service, you'll find it all right here. Shop online anytime at HerndonChevy.com or stop by and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
No accidents to report. Traffic moving along pretty darn well across the Midlands. And here in Darlington, the haulers are coming in nicely inside of the track here. It's so fun to watch. But as far as your traffic, as far as your weather is concerned, it's very nice. 76 under sunny skies today, 85 tomorrow, 88 on Sunday under mostly sunny skies. Right now, it's trying to warm up. It's about 41, 107.5 the game.
Home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WMKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Early Game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network and streaming on the 107.5 The Game app.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
Hour number 3 of the early game starts right now. I'm Elijah Campbell. She is Jen Jensen. And in the house now, his new title, he does not know he has this title yet. This has been a title that I have given to him. I have done all but knight him of it right now, is the man at Darlington Raceway. Josh Harris.
He's now the man.
Capital
You're
T,
not just
capital
the president.
N.
The man.
You're
the
just
man.
the man.
Yeah, just the man at Darlington Raceway.
All right, I'll take it.
I was gonna say we put down business cards, maybe get that like embroidered on the pullover there too.
Mm-hmm.
That way they know, people know who they're dealing with.
I think our staff here would have too much fun with that if we went that route. So
Okay.
I would be getting a hard time for the whole weekend and after.
So I'm thinking we should probably not go to the offices and share that with them because they might run with it and might make life a little more difficult for you.
That's right.
Well, good thing this conversation is not being recorded. It's not going out over the air. This is a conversation between three pals.
Yep.
No one's listening.
No one's listening. This idea can just die here. Right. Good thing these microphones aren't on. But these microphones are on. And we are sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. For all your parking lot signage and towing needs, dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck. Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town. But Josh Harris, the goal here at this raceway is to get the best and fastest cars in town. And the best and fastest car over the next number of laps is the winner. Before we even get into the Corley Pool Solutions Checker Flag Challenge, which is next, for those who aren't familiar maybe with the intricacies of Darlington and what makes it so unique, what makes it too tough to tame, how would you describe that to somebody who may be even newer to this?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to try and describe it is, we're sitting here looking out over the track and the infield. When you say it's 1.366 miles, sometimes that doesn't quite register. But this is a big facility. It's we bring groups in here all the time, and that's the first thing we pull through that tunnel. Like, wow, didn't realize how big it was. And then to what makes it so tough. When you look at this place from the Goodyear blimp overhead, it's an egg shape. So there's, like any egg, there's a smaller, narrower end, and then there's a wider end on the top. And that's really what we have. Turns 1 and 2, you have a wider radius in that turn. Turns 3 and 4 here in front of us are more narrow. And then while it looks like there's a lot of asphalt here, there's really only the racing groove where they truly race and find the most speeds, only about a lane and a half to 2 lanes. So when you think about passing cars, you have to be precise when and where you try to pass. And you've got to maintain that over, 500 miles in some cases, 400 miles this weekend on Sunday. And then our race tonight and tomorrow will be 200 miles. But that's part of the challenge. It's when you set up a race car, you want it to turn through you want it to drive well through the turns. And most tracks, their turns are equal on both ends, so you can do that. This track, it's completely different. So you got to set it up to go through one where you're just going to be holding on through the other.
That is what makes it fun. And now with this, the newer package for short track, as far as having more horsepower and as abrasive as this track is on tires, it's a new element. I was reading a little bit about some of what some of the drivers were saying, and Kozlowski, had said, my eyes are wide open. The biggest thing I'm thinking about Darlington is to go 50 laps on a set of tires was almost impossible with the next gen car in the last 2 or 3 seasons. Now we're going to have more horsepower, less aero. I don't know if we're going to be able to go 35 laps.
I tell you what, every time there's an opportunity to hit pit road and get fresh tires, these guys on Sunday are going to be taking it. And I think that's going to be interesting with this higher horsepower package. The other impact is less downforce, so less pressing that car into the asphalt. So it's going to be a little more out of control. Mm-hmm. And then, as you mentioned, the surface is already that abrasive surface that has worn down tires historically here. So now you're adding to that with more horsepower. So I think all of them are a little bit uncertain what they're going to see.
Mm-hmm. But they like that. They like it being on the edge.
They do. A race car driver would rather have to put it into his hands or her hands to finesse through the turns, where they get off the throttle, where they get back in the throttle, mm-hmm. because that's where they feel like they can make a difference as a driver. If we're just running around here wide open, everybody's in the gas, never letting off, you don't get that opportunity as a driver to have as much of an impact on the race. And I think that's what these guys truly look forward to. And I think it's why it's one of the most popular tracks that they race on. And I think you really have to start looking at drivers who maybe have a little bit of a dirt racing background, because they're used to sliding around in the turns. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get a little bit of that this weekend. And we'll see how well they can keep it under control, but still go fast.
Yeah, the whole all throttle, all gassing. That is how I race in Mario Kart.
There you go.
So I don't think
All gas,
that-
no brakes, and Mario Kart.
I don't think that would be very applicable here by
Yeah.
any means.
No, I think you probably end up with way too many Darlington stripes and maybe not able to to get it back home. It kind of reminds me of the movie Days of Thunder. It's one of my favorite movies. It's Tom Cruise, and it was part of that movie. It was filmed here.
Mhm.
But there's one part of it that he and his crew chief in that movie, it was Harry Hogg, Robert Duvall, are talking, and he's explaining to him that loose is fast on the racetrack. So you want to be a little bit loose, a little bit out of control, because that's how you make the most speed. And so I think that's what we're going to see a lot of on Sunday is that loose is fast, and they're going to find that edge. Some of them are probably going to step over the edge, and we might have some caution flags that we maybe haven't seen in a little bit here. But I'm really looking forward to it. We got a practice tomorrow for the Cup Series, so everybody gets 25 minutes of practice. So we'll get to see an early sign of how it's going to go when they step out. Right now, all they've done is simulator work, so they can put all this data into their simulators and try to get an idea. But until they get out there, it's really an unknown.
And they have 12 sets of tires, I think, for this weekend. So do you think they're going to get into an issue where tires could be a problem? Do you think they'll run short? I mean, I know Goodyear's pretty good. They've got it all figured out, but just wondering, as just all the different dynamics, I'm just curious, are they going to potentially be using up tires?
For a 400-mile race, I feel like 12 sets, it should be fine.
Okay.
I will give Goodyear and NASCAR credit in past years at different events where we've gone, and maybe there's a new tire or something new about the car that we haven't really raced yet. If they see something early on in the race where they don't feel like they're going to be able to get through, they will make a call early enough and say, okay, the teams can get one extra set of tires.
Okay.
We saw that, I think, maybe at Bristol a couple of years ago, where it wasn't really tires wearing. They were just beating up and almost it was like a cheese grater effect. So the rubber was kind of coming off. I don't think we're going to see that on Sunday, because the tire hasn't really changed a whole lot since last year, or they've raced this tire previously. But what I think it's going to happen is, over the course of a 40-lap run, you might be running 4 seconds slower a lap by the end of that run, because the tires just naturally wear. And that's really like that old school racing feel. A lot of the guys that we have here on Sunday, like Mark Martin and Harry Gant, those guys raced that way coming up, and we haven't seen as much of that with the next gen car.
Mm-hmm. It's fun to follow Goodyear Racing on X. It's still Twitter to me.
It's still Twitter to me. I will dead name that app all day long.
I just can't. But it's so funny. Each week, for Vegas last week, they said, it's unchanged. Target pressures, like, these aren't suggestions. For this week, they're saying what the pressures are for each tire, because, there's rights and lefts have different pounds per square inch as far as the tire pressures are concerned. But so for this race, it's the Lady in Black demands respect. Tire strategy isn't optional. So in other words, crew chiefs, we give you the recommendations of what you should run at. It's not a suggestion, but we know you're going to fudge with it anyway. So don't complain if the tires don't wear.
That's right. Goodyear's in a tough position. They want to make tires that put on good racing, but they also need to be durable. And the teams and the crew chiefs are going to push that limit on that air pressure, because the lower they can start the air pressure at a run, it builds over that run, and that tire can last longer if they can start on a lower air pressure. I remember at Martinsville a couple of years ago, when I was there for a race, and I was in right behind one of the pit stalls as the cars came through on the opening pace laps, and I was shocked at how low. I almost looked like they were running on flat tires. The pressure was so low on those open, because as soon as they start to build a little speed, the pressure automatically builds in those tires and it shoots up. So tough thing for Goodyear and the teams, but I think they've got a good balance. And, if they've got 12 sets of tires on Sunday, I guarantee you every team that finishes this race will go through 12 sets of tires. They will not leave a set of tires untouched. The only way I could see that happening is if they've managed well throughout the whole race and they want to save an extra set potentially for a late race caution. Even if you get a caution with 3, 4, 5 laps to go, I guarantee you teams would want to come in, take that extra set of tires, because it will make a huge difference in a short amount of time, even on a green, white checkered potentially. So I think 12 sets of tires, you can pretty much bet at least 11, if not all 12, are going to be used on Sunday.
I think so.
Josh Harris is with us right now, live, not through the phone this time. He is live with us here at Darlington Raceway. And Josh, asking for a friend here. You did mention maybe some guys that are going to have advantages this weekend are the ones with the dirt racing background. Are there any in mind that have that background that maybe just are better fits, I guess, for the race here with everything that you guys mentioned with, tire management, being able to take turns, knowing when to pass? Are there any specific guys that maybe have the background or maybe even just the pun slightly intended track record here to make you feel as if they're maybe more of a favorite than they would be anywhere else?
I think in my mind, there's kind of two categories. It is that set of drivers, regardless of their experience level, that have had a lot of dirt racing background. So you think of guys like Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson. You think about a Tyler Reddick. You think about a Ricky Stenhouse. And you can go through the field. Those guys this is going to fit their driving style really well. I think Tyler Reddick has one of the best average finishes here at Darlington. Even though he hasn't won a lot, I don't even know if he's gotten to victory lane yet. But he's a guy that he likes to run up against the wall. That's the fastest place. Larson's very similar. I remember a couple of years ago, Larson, as we're sitting here staring down to turn 2, comes right off of turn 2 and just lost the back end of it. And I think that's where, you look for a place that may have some action on Sunday. I think coming out of turn 2, going down that back straightaway with the less downforce, that's going to be a tricky spot on the track. And then the other set of drivers I think to really keep an eye on are those veterans, regardless of what their background is. Guys like Denny Hamlin, guys like Brad Keselowski have won here. Joey Logano, who's won here. I think those veterans who have been in the Cup Series and been in racing for a longer time period, and they've driven that style, higher horsepower, more tire wear around this track, and know a little bit. They've got to be patient, and I think that fits those drivers well.
Yeah, looking at some of the average running position in the last 4 races, Reddick by far has the best as far as his position, about 5th.
See you making notes over there.
Byron, Hamlin.
Write some things down.
Yep. Yeah. I'll let you have my research. So yeah, they do well here. And Hamlin's been very strong here. I mean, he's got 5 wins.
He's got 5 wins in the Cup Series. He's got 6 wins in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series now. 11 wins overall. He's one behind Dale Earnhardt Sr. for the most wins all time in any series. Dale Earnhardt has 12. Mark Martin has 10. He won 2 Cup Series and 8 O'Reilly Auto Parts Series here. So, there's some Denny's, continues as he reaches this stage of his career. It seems like every time he wins a race somewhere, whether it's a track record or it's just a NASCAR record, he keeps hitting some pretty cool milestones along the way.
Elijah's, as we get ready to go to break, Elijah is right now last in our picks contest, and he's smelling Hamlin, and I have a feeling I know where he's headed.
That's right. Well, we'll see exactly where I go with this coming up next for the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge here in the early game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Walk with 107.5 The Game on the American Heart Association Heart Walk, March 28th at Segra Park. Our goal is to raise $2,500 for the American Heart Association. Be a Heart Walk hero and please help. Go to 1075thegame.com to join in with us. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia. Not sure how to tackle your taxes? Are you sweating the small print? You may be experiencing FOMO, the fear of messing up. The answer? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it with a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. It's time to take your taxes to the max. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Gant family with Pioneer Tree Service has been taking care of trees in Columbia and surrounding areas for over 48 years. Pioneer Tree Service provides tree and shrub removal, pruning and thinning, tree planting, cabling and bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding and removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, right-of-way maintenance, and more. They also provide 24-hour emergency tree removal. They can also handle the removal of diseased and dead trees before an emergency happens. Call them today for a free estimate, 803-794-8253. The Gant family and their team at Pioneer Tree Service can be trusted to provide professional and quality tree services with affordable pricing for residential or commercial jobs. Ashton Smith called Pioneer Tree Service and said they came when she was leaving for work, and when she got home, the tree was gone, as if it was never there. She was so impressed with Pioneer Tree Service, she will definitely use them again. Here's one of the Gant girls, Madison Gant.
Call us today for a free estimate at 803-794-8253 or check us out online at pioneertreesc.com.
We know what it's like when you're injured. You hurt, you can't work, you can't pay your bills, and the insurance company won't return your calls. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're here for you when things go bad. We're local, resourceful, and have a proven record of success.
I'm Stephen Samuels. Our team is big enough to handle any case and small enough to care about each one.
We get South Carolina because we're true South Carolina. Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Are you a small business owner, a church, or other entity in need of a new HVAC system? AAA Heating and Air has exciting news for you. AAA Heating and Air now offers financing to qualified organizations to aid them in installing a new light commercial HVAC system. It's as easy as calling 803-677-1500 for a quote or finding them online at callAAAtoday.com. Tell them Jay Phillips with 1075 sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Plus tax tags and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. The all-new JT's Kia is officially open with their new state-of-the-art showroom designed to make your buying experience fast, friendly, and hassle-free. Get grand opening 0% financing for 60 months on new Kias. Put no money down and JT's million-mile warranty. Plus savings up to 10 grand off new Kias and up to 5 grand over book value for your trade. Get to JT's Kia today, I-77 at Killian Road or Greystone Boulevard.
They say perfection is a journey, and at Carolina Stone Craftsman, that journey leads us to just outside Columbia in Chapin. Our marble, our granite, our quartz, they're sculpted with the highest craftsmanship, honed with family values, and delivered with professional results. Explore the craftsmanship of each slab, see all our new showroom has to offer, and experience our custom hardscapes. Crafted to perfection, experience Carolina Stone Craftsman's workmanship. Take us for granted. Your journey to perfection starts with us, Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com.
It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Looking good. No accidents. People, you're doing great this morning. It's Friday. It should be a good day overall. No accidents to report. And the weather, like we said before, it's great. 76 and sunny today. It's going to be a mix of clouds and sun tomorrow, but still 85 and sunny and 88 on Sunday. Beautiful weather, like we said, for baseball, for racing. It's just a good weekend all the way around. Spring is almost just about here, actually, isn't it?
I reckon it is.
Oh, my gosh. It just hit me on that. Okay, well, anyway, right now it's 42 on 107.5 The Game.
The early game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The early game on the road at Darlington, sponsored by Schroeder's Towing on the Game.
And as we always do once a week, we make our picks, a very special week of picks because we are here at the track. It is going to happen. It's the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. And
it's tight.
I'm not going to say that I'm in last on purpose to tank for the first pick for this very special race. I'm not going to say it because it's not true, but I'm going to pretend like it is. I'm going to pretend.
You've been sandbagging just to get to this race.
I have been doing what the Utah Jazz are doing and losing on purpose so I can get the first pick for this specific race.
The other thing that's interesting as I look at the standings, I can't tell you the last time I remember Reggie picking this early in the group. So
usually,
Reggie, I know you're not here. Maybe you're listening out there. Sorry,
I have his picks here. I was gonna say, and we could tank him pretty quick because I mean we have his picks, but they could have gotten lost, and
they could have. Papers get lost all the time.
Stuff happens. My phone died. I didn't have his text.
It's crazy. The paper shredder is undefeated when it comes to facing paper. Like the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals. It's usually pretty one-sided rivalry right there.
That's right.
But when it's time to make picks now, I guess I am picking first. That's part of my master plan.
That's part of your master plan. On this first day of spring, we did just confirm that.
Confirmed.
Okay. Yeah.
On the first day of spring.
I've just lost track of the month. Like, oh my gosh.
Spring is my season.
Already 2/3 of the way through March.
That's insane.
How?
Yeah.
How? And then
we're already to Darlington.
Puts us at what? Like a quarter of the way through the year already?
Okay, stop.
Flying by.
Make your pick.
I don't like it.
You're making me nervous.
All right. All of the talk about the history and Tyler Reddick's his success on this track in terms of his average finish. It's between Reddick and Hamlin, but I think I'm going to go with the guy who's won here the most. I think I would feel really dumb if I didn't pick Denny Hamlin and Denny Hamlin ended up winning. I would never forgive myself.
And he just won last week, so he could be on a streak.
He likes these hot streaks. He likes to get several wins. Whether they're in a row or group them together in the season. He's a defending Goodyear 400 champion right now. So I'll just admit, if you hadn't picked him by the time he got to me, he was number one on my board. So I think it's a good pick.
That's who I had for last week and won with him. And Reggie had sent me a note. He said he won't be available for you next week. It's like, yeah, kind of figured that as much, Yeah.
Hopefully Denny Hamlin will be screaming the same thing Will Ferrell did in the movie Old School. We're going streaking. So I'm banking on that. So I'm taking my boy Denny.
Outstanding. Right. Well, then it takes us to Reggie, and he did want Hamlin first, so you took it from him. So evil laugh. And he's going Christopher Bell.
All
right. So we got Bell. So Josh, that takes us to you because as far as our point standings are concerned, so Elijah is in 5th with 19. Reggie has 20, which is probably, again, like we talked about, it's probably the lowest he's been in years. Josh at 23 and Preston and I are tied at 24. So really standings very tight.
Man,
so I love that.
This is tough. I really want to pick one driver, but and it may not make sense to think a guy's going to go with his 4th win of the season, but Tyler Reddick having the best average finish here. Toyota's, strong run so far this year. I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick and see if old MJ can join us in Victory Lane on Sunday.
That would be super fun.
I assume MJ is going to be here.
It's close to home. I don't see why he wouldn't.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He was here last year.
He was.
So,
it's spring and fall. What a good run for them. And I mean, with Denny winning last week, that still is good for 23-11. Like it's just been nonstop for them. So yeah, good time to be MJ. Well, I'll be nice. Preston, let's see. Oh, no. Oh, wait. You know what? He didn't clarify. I just got to thinking. He did not clarify who he wants. So
he just gave you a list.
He said Chase. Well, there's Chase Elliott and Chase Briscoe. I suspect he's talking Elliott because.
Ooh. Or maybe he's going with the 2-time Southern 500 winner, Chase Briscoe.
Why?
So,
and
does that impact your pick?
It does. It does. Okay. So, that's going to be a challenge. I wish.
Well, you know what the C in Corley Pool Solutions Checker Flag Challenge stands for? Controversy.
Yeah.
That's what we are here.
That's what we are here for. You know what? He's not here.
He's not here.
So, and he didn't clarify his pick. So I think he's Chase Elliott.
All right. He's Chase Elliott.
He is.
Because then I want Chase Briscoe.
Jim wants Briscoe. Hey, if you're not here to clarify, Look, it's so funny. This ties into our conversation during the break about the NCAA bracket. My son Anderson, he's 10. He filled out his bracket by hand, and then I sent it in to my aunt who runs our little family pool.
Oh, well, they're official.
His hand is sloppy handwriting, and he wrote what he thought was North Carolina winning against VCU, but she took it as VCU advancing last night and then the next round. So he was all upset yesterday because VCU was losing, and then last night they ended up pulling that game out. So like he comes out on the positive end of it. So who knows? It could end up working out for Preston.
It very
Chase
well
Elliott
should.
is a strong pick. I do think Chevrolet's right there on the brink. I wouldn't be surprised whether it's Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, William Byron being able to go to victory lane as well.
Yeah, because really around here, Toyota and Chevys are the dominant cars for the most part. It seems like.
They've had it the last few years. I mean,
Mhm.
Brad won, I think, in 2024, and Joey won maybe in 2022. But aside from that, it's been a lot of Toyota, a lot of Chevy going to victory lane here. Even on the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race on Saturday, I think 9 out of the last 10 have been either Junior Motorsports or Joe Gibbs Racing have won 9 out of the last 10 O'Reilly Auto Parts races. So Toyota, Chevrolet seem to really perform here at Darlington.
So a lot of activities going on. Maybe just give us a quick rundown of what they can expect to see some of the things happening today and tomorrow at the track or the weekend.
I mean, obviously the on-track action, it's a triple header. So at the Truck Series tonight at 7:30, tickets are still available. Tomorrow, the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will be hitting the track at 5:30. We've got practice and qualifying for the Cup Series ahead of that tomorrow afternoon. We've got the Legends Parade. So if you're here in town, in the area, Darlington, the downtown square, coming back to the track at 10 a.m. tomorrow. So you've got former drivers, current drivers, MRN and Fox broadcasters, a host of cars, just a good old, parade to kind of kick the morning off. We'll have a little bit of live music in the fan zone after the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race tomorrow night. So if you want to hang out, just grab a cold drink and listen to some music. That'll be fun. And then Sunday, the Goodyear 400 is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Tickets still available there as well. Be a full day of activities leading up to it. We've got a huge contingent of our NASCAR alumni here that are going to be out doing Q&As and autograph sessions. Our current drivers will be out there at their merch haulers signing autographs, participating in Q&As. The pre-race stage is going to be loaded with driver interviews and stuff. So fun day. The weather's going to be amazing. It's going to be hot. It's going to feel like Labor Day in a way, but we'll take it instead of these cold temperatures. So you got sun, you got heat, and a daytime race for the most part on Sunday. I think it's all the recipe for a Goodyear 400 you don't want to miss.
I think I couldn't have summed it up any better. I think it's going to be a great weekend.
I think it's a pretty good sell there. That is the man here at Darlington Raceway, Josh Harris. Josh, appreciate you joining us, man. Always good to see you in person.
Well, I appreciate you all coming out, and it's so fun to do this live. I enjoy the weekly call-ins, but getting to spend a little extra time doing 2 segments and sitting here and looking at the Truck Series haulers come rolling in. The race weekend is here. So thank you all for being here.
No problem.
Absolutely. It's a big weekend here at Darlington, but it is a BYOE weekend for the South Carolina Gamecock baseball team at Founders. I'll tell you what I mean by that coming up next.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
If the Gamecocks hit a grand slam, you can win cash. It's the Crescent Construction Grand Slam giveaway. If the Gamecocks don't hit a grand slam, the pot goes up $25 a game. Just go to 1075thegame.com to register.
Sponsored by Mattress Firm. Having trouble sleeping? Visit Mattress Firm during the Upgrade Your Sleep sale. Their sleep experts will help find your perfect bed from a premium selection of top brands. They make sleep easy.
This is the sound of Lucy, staying on top of her spending. You see, even though she's buying a new pair of jeans, she knows that it fits within her monthly budget, because Wells Fargo will send an alert if her balance drops below her set amount. Yep, nothing gets past Lucy, or Wells Fargo for that matter. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Let's rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo, presented by RM43. March 27th and 28th at Colonial Life Arena. It's rodeo and a whole lot more. Come early for autographs, pony rides, and more. See more action, the best entertainment, and be part of the fun. It's too great to wait. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. It's wild, it's western, it's pro rodeo at the Cinch World's Toughest Rodeo. March 27th and 28th, presented by RM43.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Average Amy's. Our coffee has caffeine and our muffins are cooked.
You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Cumulus Digital outperforms industry benchmarks by over 25%. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Plus, tax entitled with approved credit. Call 888-411-7640 for detail. March is a race against time at JT's Jeep Ram. JT is selling every single Jeep, regardless of profit or loss. Every credit application and offer accepted. JT's been challenged to sell 100 Jeeps, making deals the other dealers can't. New Jeeps up to $10,000 off. Grand Cherokees, Wranglers, Gladiators, even the all-new Jeep Cherokee with exclusive 1,000,000-mile warranty. JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. Declaration of deal sales event.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot. Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Gold stars as far as traffic is concerned. No accidents that we are encountering at this point. So good news there. Do have a slowdown on I-26 eastbound. Mile marker 101 to I-20. That's kind of typical, but it is in play today. So be careful in that area. And yeah, forecast-wise, looking really, really good. We're looking for a high today of 76, 85 tomorrow, 88 on Sunday. And peeking into next week, we'll hold on to the 80s through Monday before it cools down a little bit. Right now, though, 43 on 107.5 The Game.
The early game. Yes! With former Gamecocks Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen. On the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The early game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. on the game.
That's right. My main Chris Logan would never lead you astray. We are, as the early game, live here at Darlington Raceway. And we are brought to you by Schroeder's Towing. For all your parking lot signage and towing needs, dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck. Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Ask Terry Ford.
That's right. Just ask Terry Ford how fast it can be.
All right, enough of that nonsense.
That is some lived experience. We call that a testimonial.
A testimonial, intentional or otherwise.
Yeah, I did it on purpose so I could do the testimonial commercial.
Mm-hmm.
See, you want to talk about how dedicated Terry Ford is.
That really is. That's taking one for the team.
To our partners and our advertisers. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. How can you talk about a certain product if you haven't tried it?
Exactly.
So Terry,
he's a solid guy.
Terry is going above and beyond.
It was actually kind of funny that we got the video footage of him running down the street, chasing as his car's on the hook. But run, Forrest, run, run, Terry, run.
Oh man,
the record was dragging me down Gervais. It was kind of embarrassing.
Oh man, I know the scouting combine in the NFL was just a couple of weeks ago, but that might be the fastest 40 Terry Ford has clocked.
Right. If he only had eligibility.
That's right. I mean, hey, if Al Davis was still with us, Terry might have been the first round pick for the Raiders this year if he just saw Terry run. Oh.
Okay, well, we've had enough fun at Terry's expense.
Oh,
anyway.
We have. Poor Terry. Well, we'll go to the AAA Heating and Air phone lines, though, because our pal Rocky has been wanting to weigh in. Good morning, Rocky. Appreciate you joining us, buddy. Good morning. Welcome to the early game.
Good morning, and I hope it's a beautiful morning in Darlington, and that's why I'm calling. A couple of comments, I guess, the history of Darlington, the reason why it's egg-shaped. There was a property owner adjacent to where they were wanting to build the track who had a minnow pond. And he would not allow them to drain the pond, so they just said, "All right, well, we'll just adjust and adapt." And that's why that instead of it being totally oval, that's why it's egg-shaped.
And that pond is there still today.
Yep. Yeah, that's right, Jen. That's right. And the other story I got, and back in the 90s, I had the opportunity to go to a few races during the 90s. And the first one I took my son to, he was young back then. So we went to the race, and I got him a headphone. And back then there was a rule, not sure who adapted, but if the drivers swore on the radio, they got fined. And so I got my son a headset, and for him to be able to listen to the radio, we're sitting there, and I asked him, I said, "Son, Brian, who you listening to right now?" And he says, "Well, I'm listening to Rusty Wallace." And Dad, I think he's going to get fined a little bit.
It's funny. That seems to have changed because I think it was an FCC regulation at one time because of the radios, but that doesn't stop them now. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no. But it was just funny at the time. I think he's like 11 at the time, but it was it was just kind of a funny thing. It was kind of a funny thing. It just but anyway, those are a couple of my comments on Darlington, and love that place. It is a great racetrack, but it's been a long time since I've been there. So, but anyway, that's just what I wanted to share this morning, folks.
Oh.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you for
Appreciate
sharing, Rocky. Yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah, this place is certainly a gem, and that is an awesome story right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Rusty Wallace probably did get fined.
I'm thinking probably. Mm-hmm.
Either that or upper management in NASCAR just put a bar of soap in his mouth. And you got the Christmas story.
As long as it was
treatment.
Sponsored.
Yeah, as long as it's sponsored soap. Yeah, somebody's got to make money somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these beautiful cars and everything here, they don't pay for themselves.
No.
So that's probably, actually, that may be the more likely course of action.
Mm-hmm.
So,
actually, I like the visual of it more.
Honestly, the visual is the funniest part of that right there.
A grown man, successful driver with a bar of soap in his mouth. That's amazing.
And see, one of the reasons why Rusty Wallace was so successful is because he brought his own energy in the race car. Even if it was not FCC appropriate energy, he brought an edge. And at Founders Park this weekend, another place here in the great state of South Carolina where it is a big weekend because a top 10 Arkansas team is coming to town. And you are in the midst of just trying to salvage anything that you can for this baseball season. You're 12-10 overall. You've got a handful of losses to mid-major opponents in which you didn't lose any of those games last year, and you're already 0-3 in SEC play with the sweep you experienced at Florida last weekend. This one's at home. If the crowd is anything like it was on Tuesday against Charlotte, it's not going to be a raucous environment. And I'm not saying that to disparage people for not going. I totally get it. I completely understand. For the players, though, this is going to be a BYOE weekend. You're going to have to bring your own energy. You're going to have to find some inspiration for yourself, right? You're going to have to find something this season that you can hold on to because there's so much more to play. That's the thing. This isn't like this is the last weekend of the series and it's been a bad year. This is only the second SEC series that you have played this season. There's still plenty of baseball left to be played, and you cannot play defeated the entire season. This is a great opportunity to be able to get yourself mentally re-engaged as a player, to be able to get refreshed. And if you're able to get a win at any point in this series, or even win the series, that is a big step to your personal development and the development for the team. And it at least keeps spirits up, because I completely understand how beaten down the fan base feels. There is a big element of apathy in checkout. And we discussed that earlier in the week, and I think you can sense it ever since that loss to Charlotte. I think people have had enough here. This is a series that I know is going to be closely watched in terms of your competitiveness, player buy-in, and the ever-looming idea of a change at the head coaching position, which is certainly something the fan base has been loudly calling for. Mm-hmm. This is a weekend in which you absolutely cannot have a run rule loss. You can't lose a game in the manner like you did in game 1 against Florida, where you do get a really solid pitching performance, enough to keep Florida off of the scoreboard until the bottom of the 10th inning. And you had a no-hitter for a large part of that game and still found a way to lose, where Florida had more errors than hits and still found a way to win that game. You cannot lose in the same manner that you were losing last weekend. It's something that is a very unsustainable model. This is a big weekend for the future of the program, and I'm just really not hoping for the worst here. You cannot keep losing in the manner in which you have lost so many times this season.
No, you can't. But the weather will be beautiful.
I
and
love
it's
that.
always a good time to be out of the ballpark. Even if they don't win, it's still baseball.
I do love baseball.
You know, and the weather's going to be great, especially on Sunday. So how about we give away some tickets?
Oh my God. Yes. For free?
Oh my gosh. For free with parking.
Oh, that's a deal.
I know, right? We have 2 family 4-packs plus parking to go to Sunday's game. The game's at 1:30 on Sunday. So head out to Founders Park, give Terry a call. Ask him nicely. Maybe be callers. What do we do? 3 and 4?
Let's do 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
803-404-6100. And you can go 2 family 4-packs with parking for Sunday's game at 1:30 at Founders Park.
That's right. And we'll give Terry a chance to answer those phones. And we'll do that by taking a break here. And coming up next, our winners for today's show, brought to you by the Golden Spur. That's next here in the early game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Go to 1075thegame.com and check out our sweet deals, like $50 worth of great eats from Grill Marks for just $25 and a 6-month membership to the YMCA for half price. It's all at 1075thegame.com.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute. Number 11 seed VCU pulled off the comeback of the year, erasing a 19-point deficit to stun 6th-seeded North Carolina 82-78 in overtime on day 1 of March Madness. The Tar Heels were cruising until Terrence Hill Jr. went nuclear, dropping 23 of his 34 points after halftime, including a cold-blooded step-back 3 to seal the deal. I'm Drake Toll.
This is the highlight of my morning. Hey, what's up? It's Island.
And I'm Josh.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
You've got that nice golden fluffy egg
with a soft, flaky biscuit,
crispy bacon,
melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Biscuit with Simply Orange Juice. Order on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel. Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803. Don't wait. Call now. 800-506-5803. 800-506-5803.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Can you really, quote unquote, bank your sleep for nights when you're not getting enough rest? This is a hot topic. Now, I'll tell you, this is something researchers have studied, so much so that there's actually a scientific name for it: sleep extension. Just about all the experts agree that you should only do this if you really have to, because of an acute family or job need, and then you should get back on a normal sleep schedule as quickly as you can. That means 7 to 9 hours of high quality, uninterrupted sleep every night. But if you do know that you're headed for some shorter nights, try to back up the time you go to bed rather than pushing out the time you wake up. Just a few extra minutes every night leading up should be doable, and it should also do the trick. Just remember this: it's to help you weather the sleep deprivation better. Think of it as a Band-Aid, not a fix. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
The Early Game with former Gamecock Preston Thorne, Elijah Campbell, and Jen Jensen on the Game Network, 107.5 Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The Early Game on the road at Darlington. Sponsored by Schroeder's Towing. On the Game.
And every day to end the show, we give you our winners. Brought to you by the Golden Spur. Request normally done by Mike Singletary, who once proclaimed that you cannot win with him. Because we also can't do, Jen. Can't coach with him. Can't do it.
I want winners. Winners.
Mike Singletary wants winners.
And you know what? When he played for the Bears, he wanted winners, and it was there were limited opportunities, but you know there were some.
Not many people got to be winners for the Chicago Bears.
No, so he was in an elite group.
And you know what? I'm glad we can continue to fulfill Mike Singletary's thirst for winners. And again, brought to you by our friends over at the Golden Spur. First winner for me today, this beautiful racetrack, Darlington. This is a gem of a place, a great sporting experience. It is incredibly unique, too, because of its lore. Like, you know, Rocky called in and talked about, you know, the minnow pond that to this day is still there and is the reason that this bad boy is egg-shaped, not a complete oval.
Nope. And I know there are several drivers, like Martin Truex Jr. actually was out there. I was in an event where he was out there fishing, And yeah, some different drivers like to go out there and do that, in off time and stuff like that. But yeah, it is interesting how the track was developed, and there's always interesting stories about but it's just the small town feel. Everybody's awesome, very kind. People just in the infield. I mean, it's a community. You drive through, and when you start doing this year after year, you see same people parked in the same places, this pretty much similar, same setups. And I think it's a family out here, and it's just a great environment. So if you've never been to the race, this is a good opportunity to come and enjoy. And man, the weekend's going to be great weather-wise.
Oh, it really is. You could say that is a winner for the weekend.
What
the weather is going to be fantastic, especially now that we have officially entered spring.
We just learned that this morning.
The things you learn something new every day. And that is that today is the first day of spring.
I try to keep up with that, but oh well.
And sticking with the Darlington theme too, another winner for today's show, Denny Hamlin. Not just because I picked him to be a winner, but the guy has an incredible track record here.
Yeah.
At Darlington, and sitting in this place, it is hard to do a winner segment without talking about maybe the most prolific winner at this raceway, in Denny Hamlin.
Yep. No, he's solid. He has 5 Cup wins here, and Josh was telling us, another 6. So he is in rarefied air, and he is very strong at this track. And 2311 in general is strong at this track. So he will be too tough to tame this weekend for sure.
He certainly will. And another winner here too. And we got a couple minutes. I wanted to give one from yesterday's basketball games, specifically High Point head coach Flynn Clayman. I don't think we have enough time to be able to run the clip, but he talked about scheduling. High Point beat Wisconsin yesterday. That was High Point's first quad 1 game this year. Wow. There was a whole thing, where Miami, Ohio, Travis Steele, their head coach, said that no one would schedule us, right? I mean, we're at a weird spot in the net rankings where teams don't want to play us because beating us wouldn't, boost their net rating enough. But, there's no risk of losing them because they're at least, too good. They're in that weird in-between stage. You're not too bad to play, also too good, but not good enough to move the net rating, right? Or have an impact on the metrics that the committee values the most. And he says that's a problem. He's like, teams didn't want to play us. They didn't want to schedule us. That's why our schedules look the way they do. And he did drop the hardest line of the NCAA tournament so far. It's like, now you have to play us.
Solid.
I am not stuck here in this arena with you, Wisconsin. You're stuck in here with me. You're stuck in here with me for 40 minutes.
That's awesome.
I love it so
much.
It's March. And like as you mentioned, Miami, Ohio had that problem. Belmont had that problem. All these schools had that problem. And when you get to the NCAA tournament, you can't duck anybody anymore. You have to play them.
Yep. So this is a good time for them to shine.
And that's why too, I'm so intrigued with their game against Arkansas, because normally I wouldn't think that they were going to beat Arkansas. That's, any other month these teams play, I'm like, all right, Arkansas probably win by 10, 15 points. I don't feel that confident in saying Arkansas wins by 10 or 15 points because I know exactly what High Point did and the type of team they are. And they're playing with a different type of swagger right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing about March too. Sometimes irrational belief is a hell of a drug, and irrational confidence is a hell of a drug, and it can help you achieve things that you didn't think that a school like that could achieve.
No. Yep. I love that.
That's the best part about this whole thing. And who knows, if Miami, Ohio beats Tennessee today, that story continues.
Oh boy.
I think that can happen.
Yeah, I think so.
That's such a weird game because I think Tennessee can either win that thing by 20 or end up getting beat. I don't know if there's an in-between. Maybe
mark the calendar for that one.
Maybe they survive the scare. They just turn the ball over so many times. Also, winner, Dawn Staley.
That was mine. Yep.
And tell us why, Jen Jensen.
Again, I mean, she's such a good motivational speaker. And so Southern beat Samford, and she gave these lovely little Louis Vuitton gifts and gave them a motivational speech. I mean, just how awesome, something they'll remember the rest of their lives.
It's pretty cool. It enhances the student athlete experience. All these programs talk about one day enhance the student athlete experience. That is how you do it. So Dawn Staley, always a winner. Those are our winners, brought to you by the Golden Spur. Tyler Head, he's a winner. He's here at Darlington too. And guess what? He's not later. He's next.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Spring is here, and there's a pretty big golf tournament coming up. You've probably heard of it. I can't mention it legally, but if that gets you in the mood to play golf and to be able to work on your game a little bit, it makes you want to improve your game. Well, Pro Swing is here to help. You can use those awesome golf zone simulators that I love to use with 300 plus courses at your disposal with different game modes on it, but also being able to learn more about your swing. They give you metrics on your swing. They give you a video replay of how you're hitting the ball. It's the perfect way to learn about your golf game while also taking advantage of a free 30-minute swing evaluation. And also they have lesson packages available for beginners to scratch golfers, kids to adults. Best place to learn the game and improve your game is Pro Swing. 803-592-3915 is the number, or you can always book online at proswingcolumbia.com.
Sponsored by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. And most Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank. Capital One NA. Member FDIC.
Are you a small business owner, a church, or other entity in need of a new HVAC system? AAA Heating and Air has exciting news for you.